it's time. Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Happy Fishy Friday.
you stopped us right in the middle of a good conversation, too.
Well, I can't stop the clock, and they will kill us if we're late.
I gotta hold the position of the crotchety old man. Sorry.
Can't tanker us, old man.
Cantankerous old man, yeah.
Crotchety works too.
Well, crotchety just sits here and bitches.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Cantankerous comes after you.
So, hello, all. I'm glad to see you all here and having all these side chats along the way. Wow, you guys just talk amongst yourselves. I don't even need to be here.
Fishy is a state of mind. Oh,
That's me.
you?
I wrote it, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
It's a euphoric, wonderful state of mind where no one's out to use you or steal from you, and everyone treats you like you're their best friend. That's what Stay Fishy's about. Big happy family with no arguing. All right, so tonight we've got really nothing planned. It's just going to see how things progress, how things are going to go. But I just did my 2 days and 16 hours a night, and then today I had to work 8 hours watching her, and at 11 o'clock tonight is when I'll get a night nurse and I can sleep tonight. But I got some sleep this morning when Latrice came, and I slept until I think it was 1:30, and got up, jumped in the shower, and I've been going since. I've done, I got 3 loads of laundry. I cleaned my bedroom. We've been doing all kinds of things around here.
Lucky that wasn't on the video today.
Yeah. I went up to Lowe's to pick up that plastic that I decided to not use the wood for, and they found it at the plastic at Lowe's, and they don't have it there. I have to order it offline. So it's going to be another couple days before we can finish that dog bone tank. See, this is the kind of stuff that just upsets me, but you just got to.
Well, Hubert's sure going to be happy.
Yeah,
He
we
hates
get that
being
back.
in there with them stingrays.
How do you figure that?
He just wants constant attention. He's
Yeah,
used to having people.
Not
play
many
with
people
him.
walk down that aisle and check out the stingrays. I have to tell people, go down
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah, I have to tell him he's there, but
Yeah.
he can't come in contact with people, and he's used to being in contact with people.
Now, here's the thing. The reason for that video was, and I didn't go overboard and just show me working constantly. I didn't want it to be fake. I just showed you what I did, and I forgot to video a lot of that. But there was some idiot online that somebody said something about a slacker on that video where I was calling Andy a slacker, and he come on there saying, we all know Big Rich is the biggest slacker there. And I go, yeah, that was funny, ha, but I'd like to see you come stay a week in my shoes and see if you can handle it, And he replied to that with, and yet there's nothing on film or video about that, basically saying video or it didn't happen. So I just videoed a day in my life where I go from 3 o'clock one day to 3 o'clock the next day, and I didn't video a lot. I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing laundry because I have to stay up all night anyway. So I did like 3 loads of laundry and stuff. Did all my blankets, all my sheets, all my clothes, pillowcases, everything. I did 3 loads of laundry. I didn't video none of that. That's just other stuff. You have to keep moving or you're going to fall asleep. So. That's the main reason I put that video out there so people can see what I do on a day-to-day. Oh, Tyler, stop it. He says you're a superhero in our eyes. Jerry's my sidekick. Tyler says I'm a superhero and you're my sidekick.
Oh, you think so? Man,
that's hilarious.
That remake of the Lone Ranger, I thought that it got bad reviews, and I thought it was the most hilarious.
You the one with Johnny Depp?
Oh yes.
Yeah, Johnny Depp didn't listen at all like Tonto normally does.
Oh no, and he makes a beautiful Tonto look. He's real, man. I mean, I met. Where's the? Come on. Okay, that's what.
Raheem says the drinking word is sleep. I don't know, Raheem. Are you able to type sleep over continuously? We got to find a word that you can't type.
He's got the smiley face. He keeps thinking things that he's got a cheap emoji.
Well, we can make it sleep if you want. Anime Lifestyle says Batman and Robin. No, more like Fat Man and Robin. There you go.
You're gonna open that one up. Huh?
Jerry is your Robin Rich. Speaking of Fat Man and Robin, listen to this. You know, for I think it's a month and a half now, I've been on diet and trying to get lower, and I lost from 340 all the way down to 300. And then I stayed at 300 for the whole week. This last week that Brooke, Holly, and Andy was here, there was always food here. You know, I'm either cooking for them or they're buying stuff or they're cooking stuff, and it was just too much to pass on, you know. So I didn't make it under 300 this last week. I actually went up to like 307 again. But today, I got on the scale this morning, and it was right before I jumped in the shower, and I was 299. So I broke that 300 mark. I'm 299 today. So, and I'm not eating a lot, and you know, people aren't here, so I can keep going. So I'm going to try and push it to 275 this time. That's this push. Jerry's over there. Dang it. Because when I'm on diet, I don't cook. I don't make a bunch of food.
I'm gonna go sneak in there tomorrow and adjust his scale.
This guy. Jens Carlson says, what is that in kilos? I don't know. Let's ask Google.
Kilos.
299 pounds in kilos.
I'm sorry, folks.
135.6 kilograms. Okay.
I'm an old school West Coast 60s kid, and I cannot say kilos without thinking of having a smoke. So we don't have a drinking word yet.
Don Mike says, Reaper was so excited about that food in today's video. You know what? He was, because he's true blue Italian. He don't like sugar in his
You're correct.
sauce or gravy, you know, spaghetti sauce. He don't like it at all. He'll spit it out. Patoo, that's terrible. But every time he makes sauce, he loves it. You know, he just absolutely loves it. I taste it and I get heartburn for 2 days. It's horrid. It's so acidic. I couldn't imagine eating like that, but he loves it.
You want to start a fight? You call him call a Sicilian an Italian.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. We can correct you on that real quick.
But anyways, he got, and you know, it kills me. He comes in with the Italian words, you know. This is mortadella. This is capicola. Why can't you just say the end of the word? It's mortadella, capicola. That's what's marked on the package. Make it hard for me to understand what it is. But you know, he's so Italian that, you know, it's his roots, and you know, I'm not to put him down for it, but he has his way. I have mine. I make my spaghetti so thick with so much meat in there, all kinds of different kinds of meat, different textures, and all this. And you know, I do add a teaspoon of sugar for a big thing of spaghetti, and it helps take away the acidicness. And same thing with a piece of carrot you can throw in there and take it out when you're done. It soaks up the acidity. So does baking soda. I put that in there too. I think you should enjoy your food, not be sick for 2 days, you know, with heartburn because you had some spaghetti. I don't know. That's just me. Tyler says, I love the way he was pronouncing the meat. It was like he was being at my grandmother's house. She must be Italian. She was straight off the boat Italian. She taught me a little, and I still remember some of them. Well, I'm glad he brought back some good memories.
He's Sicilian.
Reaper, he's Italian. That's what he'll tell you.
He's Sicilian.
If you ask him, he'll say
His
Italian.
family comes from Sicily.
Okay, but he says, you know, he's true blue Italian.
Okay, well, more power to him.
Vasquez family says, man, I'm 6'3", 300. Hard to get under 280. I tell you what, I'm 6'1 3/4, and I was 340, and I got down to 300, and now I'm down to 299. I've lost 41 pounds, and just today the nurse walked in. She goes, "Are you losing weight?" And I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "Because it shows. You look thinner now." I'm like, first person to say it. Thank you. And so people are starting to notice now. Jen says, big boy, but you are tall as well. 6'1 3/4 ain't really tall. To me, I mean, 6'4", 6'7". I mean, I've stood next to Shaq and felt like a little girl in his presence.
He picked you up like a little girl.
Yeah, he did. I felt like a little girl in a princess dress standing on daddy's shoes at the dance. You know what I'm saying? When he bear hugged me and picked me up. Chris Galbert says, millions. Oh, it jumped on me. Hang on. Millions of pools looks like that, but only one monster fish pool. That flashback picture looks bland compared to how it looks now. Yeah, but if you can see on each side, let me point over this way. See this little railing? This is cement here, but right, I can move my hand backwards from it. Right at the edge of that is a metal slider, all the way down this whole thing and all the way down the other side. And you see that white thing at the end going across the whole backside? That is the roll of pool cover. And it slid down them metal things. And so the whole thing would cover over in like a thick vinyl tarp. And I used to throw my kids out on there and we'd wrestle out on it like a big water bed. And it was great for the first 4 or 5 years. And then it started ripping. And, you know, at the edges where it's been crumpled over and rolled up with a seam, a crinkle. Right there, it started ripping at the edges and water started coming up. So we stopped standing on it. And I was going to replace it, but then we ended up turning into the monster pool pond. And it was the original monster pool pond, first of its kind. I'm sure that's not true, but I haven't seen any others. But there's people somewhere in the world that have done it before us. But
Oh, it's old school.
the point is, we're the first one to do it on YouTube, and we got the credit for it.
Oh, the saltwater pools on the West Coast. We rescued a nurse shark and a grouper out of it.
All right, you're supposed to be a sidekick. That means stick up with me and help me, not argue with me. Say yes, OFR, the first, yes. Be a good sidekick, Jerry.
He's not satisfying having the only golden iridescent shark in captivity.
No.
He's got to have all his other.
Well, now Rod's taking over this whole thing. He's got.
He doesn't have a golden iridescent shark.
No, but
nobody does.
But he has
I know
a golden, an albino barramundi. He has albino arapaima. He has an albino fly river turtle.
Has he still got that black and white marble?
I don't know.
hooch?
I have no idea.
That is neat. He's got an albino fly river. Yeah, quite a collection.
Yeah, but like his original albino fly river turtle.
Huh?
Like his original fly river turtle that
Yeah, I
died.
got albino.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, did it die?
It died, and he had it for sale for $50,000.
Oh yeah.
And now it died, and you're never getting $50,000. You know, that's the heartbreak of it.
Fish I rescued when I was a kid cost you $1,000 now. I went pricing to see how much they want for one of those blue-eyed panocs, the gray panoc catfish, like a pleco.
Yeah.
Blue-eye.
Blue-eyed pleco, yeah.
They're $1,000 to even start looking. That's
Jen says black shirt helps you look skinnier even. You know what? I was wearing a black shirt when I was fat. Now I'm wearing a black shirt when I'm less fat. It's still fat. So it ain't like I was wearing, white shirts then and now I wear black so I look thinner. Nothing's changed except for my clothes are looser now. This 3X is just loose. It's just floppy. It's just floppy everywhere. I can pull it out sideways. It's just floppy. And when before, I used to have to take and stretch it over my knee over the bed so that the shirt would loosen up some or it didn't cling to me. Okay, you guys are talking about swimming in the pool. We still swim in the monster pond, just not as much as we did before. I used to heat that up to 89 degrees, and you can get in, and it felt just wonderful. It didn't feel that shock of being cold. And we just sit in there, and that's where we drink. We'd have a float. I had my beer holder holding my cup on my float, and we'd sit out there for hours and just drink and have fun. And people come over, they'd jump in. I miss them days, actually. I miss it, but I would never give it up for the fact of that pool pond is amazing. But I really wouldn't want to sit in a float, floating around there with my toes dangling in the water and not watch the fish. When I go in there swimming, we watch the fish. You know, but when we were floating around drinking and stuff, just hanging out and talking and having a good time, we never paid attention to the water.
You didn't have a giant catfish in there either.
Yes. Didn't have alligator guards either. And the only thing that's bit me when I've been in there was a red-tailed cat. It came out from his hiding spot by the wood as I was walking through, and it just clamped on, moved all the rocks around my foot, and clamped onto my foot underneath and on top. And I was like, what the hell? You know, it was,
you don't have teeth.
dude, it felt like a hammer.
Yeah,
you know?
it feels like a hammer.
It was hard.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you felt it in the water. You felt it in your soul, you know, like a base hit.
Yeah, but they're a bony plate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was like a sandpaper, you know.
Yeah.
I had scrapes on my foot.
Well, you
but
don't want to pull away from it.
that's what I did, too. Of course you're going to pull away. So I got some scrapes. But, you know, nothing else has bit me. Now, Josh has been bit by the alligator gar and hurt by the Tarashuki cat or the ripsaw cat or the Oxydorus niger, however you want to pronounce them.
Wherever you are.
And then he got hurt by the big pleco, the Adonis pleco.
Yeah, that surprised me. That Blacko's not aggressive.
Tyler says, sorry, Jerry, didn't mean to do that to you. It's all in good fun.
That's okay. But, you know. Oh, platinum paddlefish. Yeah, didn't Ross take over that? Doopy says it's platinum paddlefish.
We were set up to get one, but then the guy went from moving. We were paying 60. This was years ago. We were paying $60 a paddlefish then. And then the next summer we went to get some more, and he raised it to 800 or 600 for a paddlefish, and then 800 for the larger ones.
700 minimum.
Yeah, something like that. And then, you know, we had to buy like 20 of them at a time. And we were like, dude, he goes, but I got an albino in the batch. And I said, we can't afford them prices. We can't do that.
That's how much he's going to get for the meat and the eggs.
Yeah, if he grows it
Yeah,
out
he
for,
grows
you know,
them out.
10, 15 years and blah, blah, blah.
But there's
Screw that.
really very little risk in growing them out. It's not like it's,
Well, you know what? They can have more babies next year and keep on growing out more. They'll never miss the
not if you
one.
sell the eggs.
Huh?
Not if you sell the eggs.
They won't have babies next year if you sell the eggs. That's
You
what
don't
not
wait-
if you sell the eggs means.
From what I understand, you don't wait for them to spend the eggs. You take the eggs.
Yeah, yeah. You
And that
expel them
kills
yourself.
the fish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Well, healthy fish don't get sick. It's the stress. The stress of being milked kills. I mean, salmon are going to die anyway. People don't understand that those fish would have more if they went full throttle.
Oh, yeah, and Reaper got stung by the ray, but that was Reaper's own fault. He caused that.
I haven't been bit by anything yet.
And you've been in that sump with many fish in there.
Yeah.
You've been barefoot in there.
Alligator snapping turtle almost got me. Day before yesterday. Oh, you got.
You can semi see through that cup.
Oh yeah, you can see you got water reflecting on it. But I walked into the fish room and I'm turning the lights on,
Uh-huh.
and I'm looking up at the 110 on top, and I stubbed my toe on the alligator snapping turtle sitting down here.
He got out?
I don't have my shoes on, and I just bumped him with my big toe.
But how did he get out?
He climbs out of that 100.
Should have had cover.
Well, yeah. I think it was a fluke. He just managed to hook his claw over the edge.
Right. Freddie87 says, how's it going, Rich? What are today's topics? Well, of course, we're going to talk about Tracy. We're going to talk about today's video, of course, and the things going on outside, like every Friday. Whatever we're doing that week, you know, you guys don't even know, but we finished painting the 3,000 gallon tank that Josh started. We got 3 coats on it. We're now, it's cured. It's ready and waiting on us to put the glass in now. We've got our plan on how to do it, and we're going to start on that. So that tank will be up before the 4,000 gallon tank will be up. So we're still waiting on the glass for that and the guy putting the background in.
As soon as any one of those is up, we can get those catfish out of the sump and start
Mary
working
says-
on that.
Mary says, Jerry, never been bit, but has Big Rich ever tried to bite you?
Only in fun.
Shauna says, I had to walk away. What's a drinking word? Did we come up with one?
Not yet, no.
Was it Tracy or was it sleep?
How about bit? Sleep came.
You guys pick.
No, you know,
Tracy, sleep, whatever you want.
the same alligator guard that bit Josh on the elbow.
Yeah.
Kissed the back of my hand.
Yeah, they're not looking to bite.
No.
Josh just jumped in and splashed in.
Right
and
where they
triggered
feed.
their
Yeah.
feeding response, you
Well,
know, and he snapped at whatever's in the commotion. That's what they do, you know, when we throw big food in there.
Yeah.
So Josh, he caused that himself. The same way that Reaper caused his own. I told Reaper to slide your feet towards them and they'll move out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, Reaper went in with a wide stance and trapped him in the corner and slid a foot on each side, trapping him in the corner. The thing had no way to go. If Reaper had been against one wall sliding at him, the thing would have just swam out that way. But because he pinned him in there, it was a fight or flight response, you know. He stabbed him and left.
There's only a couple of fish that actually hunt you down out there, and they'd have to be full grown to do it. And they ain't out right yet.
Raheem says, where's the snapping turtle? Which tank? On the tank with that big head carp and the
The planted tank that's out of
the high fin
position.
Chinese sharks with the clown loaches, all the plants in it. Underneath that, there is a 100-gallon empty tank, and the turtle came in, so we put some water in there, a couple inches, and let him be in there until we find him a home. And he climbed out.
Yeah, what is that? 6 foot by 30 inches.
Yeah,
That's only 100 gallons. So it's only about a 12-inch wall.
12 inch tall. Yeah.
Yeah. He just managed to get his.
Jeff Chart says, just drink. We don't need a word. All right.
Yeah, right.
This time,
All
whenever
right.
you see Rich take a sip, you take a sip. We'll try that. That way Raheem can't bust us and get us all drunk.
Those beer mugs and that little puff of smoke, they hit emojis too much.
Oh. You don't tell my following they do anything too much, mister. You're my sidekick. I'm never going to let that one go, Jerry. I'm going to introduce you now. Oh, this is Jerry, my sidekick.
This side's going to get kicked.
He said he's going to kick me.
Go get my ugly stick.
I got ugly sticks in the basement, about 6 of them. They're fishing poles.
Yeah. Yeah. I gave mine to my son.
Uh-oh, we got something here I haven't seen before.
Jumped a bunch.
Sartin Aquatics. Good job on getting them tanks ready. Been watching since you guys went to pick them up. You guys have definitely come a long way with them. Keep up the good job. You know, I hope with today's video, it shows you guys how I have a completely different life other than the rescue. And I'm sorry to say, but the rescue takes second place because it's taking care of Tracy, along with paying the bills, taking care of the house, and keeping things up in a certain level of quality life, you know. Then I can spare a few hours a day going out there. Like, I wake up at noon, which I shouldn't. I should just sleep until Latrice leaves at 3, you know, and which I don't. I get up at noon and I work with community service or by myself out there until 3 when Latrice leaves. Then I got to watch Tracy from 3 o'clock until 11 o'clock, which I can still do on my phone, but I can't do work and watch my phone. I've tried that, and I'm out there working, and all of a sudden I forget I don't even hear Tracy no more. How long has she been off? Oh my God. The Wi-Fi clipped off and the video stopped. Oh my God. And I have to get it back up and do all that. I hate doing that. So for me to feel like I'm taking care of Tracy, I have to actually be in here. Or when people come over and visit, like Brooke Holly was here with Andy, she sat inside at the kitchen table and, you know, did whatever she wanted to do. And if Tracy's alarms went off, she picked up her phone and called me and I'd come running in. That I can do because I'll hear the phone ring. The phone's always by my side. At that point, when I do that, when I have a girl in the house watching Tracy, she don't have to actually watch Tracy. She just has to alert me that the alarms are going off. I tie the phone around my neck so it's always right here. So the phone's hanging like this, and I hear it going off, you know. So that's one way, like female community service people can do easy time. Like if it's pouring down rain or something like that, and they can't work outside, or you know, we're all caught up on the rescue and they can't do projects, but general cleaning is all caught up. Well, I have them sit inside and watch Tracy, watch TV, play on your phone, whatever, and then call me and I can get out there and get work done. Drink up, guys. And if you can't tell, I'm fresh out of the shower and clean, got clean clothes on. I'm just happy. I'm in a nice air-conditioned house. Everything is good. I took my Speedy Go Faster pills, which are, I don't drink coffee. So I take these caffeine pills, which are 100 milligrams each. And you get them at truck stops. I got like 1,000 of them for, I think it was $9.99. And I've had it for almost 2 years now. And every time I take them little caffeine pills, I get my hair itching and I'm like, let's go, let's do this.
Hi, Mary Dean just gave us a $20 super chat.
Oh, thank
She
you.
didn't ask a question, but she says she loves all my fishy family.
Aw, thank you, Marie. Here's to you and your husband. You guys keeping up? I just did drink. Can you keep up? Okay. Nine and Out says, where do you buy thick glass for 1,000-gallon tanks? Well, you know what? We just cold call glass companies. Do you have any big pieces of glass laying around? Because they're more apt to sell a piece of glass that's been sitting there for 2 years than they are to special cut it for you. They have to order a big sheet and cut it to the size you need. It's going to cost you more. If you buy some of their old stock, oh man, we've had this piece sitting there for 5 years, 14 foot long. Well, our opening's 13 foot. We can have 12 inches extra on each side. That's fine, or 6 inches extra on each side to make the 14. That works. And we try that first, and we try and get old store stock because then we get it at a deal. Try that. And also, if there's ever any banks in your town getting torn down, all of their glass is bulletproof glass. You can go there and get them 4x8 sheets on the front of the bank. Cheap. I ran across it one time and I picked up like 6 sheets that were 4x8. Real cheap. I think it was like $100 a sheet. And we tried building stuff out of them, but we couldn't cut them for shit. They just break. So you had to build around the glass, but that was years and years ago.
Yeah, it used to be hard to come by, man, but now they're tearing down all those old buildings.
Yeah.
Going into with newer construction using the earthquake-proof stuff.
Yeah.
That old bank glass, the old bulletproof glass, the big heavy glass windows. And they're not made to hold water pressure, but when you cut them down, they are.
Well, they're an inch thick glass. They're bulletproof. I think they have the plastic laminating inside of them or something or whatever. I don't know how they make it, but they do hold up. I've never had one break. Now I've special ordered glass that is broken.
Yeah.
Demo says
that
Jerry.
700-gallon I had was made out of bank windows. And I never kept over 400 gallons in it. I didn't know. The top half is empty.
Demo says, will we see you guys at Aquashell in New Jersey? Sadly, no. That's like a 5-hour drive from us. And you guys know the nursing problem I've had. We caught the one nurse, jerking Tracy around by her hair and pulling her arms and stuff like that. So we had to get rid of her. And since then, we've been going through like all these oddball nurses to where my weekends ain't set. I used to have it to where my weekend was set. I was good, except for the nurse would start at noon on Sunday or 11 o'clock on Sunday. I had to watch Tracy from 7 to 11. And then I was good for the whole rest of the weekend. So if I could get Josh to fill in for me for them 3 hours, then I was good. But now we've got a new nurse, and she called off this Sunday. And she's a great person. We just love Jackie. Hope she wants to stay here forever. But she's a school nurse for a school. So once school starts, she'll be not being here as much.
Yeah.
So, we're in a turmoil in between. I don't have no solid, steadfast weekend nursing anymore. Every time I've tried calling old nurses that were decent, they already got a new job and they're doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I've never found a nurse that was out of work. Imagine that. So that's the problem. We did not try and make it. We did not even try. I talk to the guys every year and try and, get to one of them at least. And that was in Chicago. That was a 6-hour drive. But up there, we got Greg Woodstock, and, we could stay at his place in Aquascape. He's got them 3 hidden bedrooms in there and stuff like that. He lets us stay there, and it was always a good thing. I'd get a couple videos because of Aquascape, and then I'd get a couple videos because of Greg Woodstock. Could hang out with good people, good friends. I don't really know anybody in New Jersey. It's a new show there now. So I don't have connects there and the nursing problem. So we didn't even try this year. I'm sure people will remember us for next year, and hopefully we'll have good nursing by then. Not saying we don't have good nursing now. We have 3, which I call my dream team, which is Marion at night. We got, what's my day nurse's name? I keep forgetting.
Oh, that's me.
Not Lestat.
I stay out of that part of it. I'm out
You're
there
not
taking
helping
care
me.
of the fish. So
You're not helping me at all right now. You're making me look bad. It's all going bad right now. Latrice, she's going to see this and be like, you didn't even remember my name, and you didn't help me remember it at all. I was asking for help. What a sidekick you are. So Latrice is the A1, number 1 grade A nurse. And then we got Marion, she cares so much about Tracy. I love her. She's part of the family. And then we got Jackie, the weekend nurse that we're going to lose come school time. She's a great person, beautiful lady. She just, so family oriented. And she said that's why she took this job, because she didn't need any more work. She just filled in that one day. And then she started showing up every weekend, for Saturday and Sunday, because she said it was such a great thing to see. You love Tracy so much, and I want to help, and you need help, and I just felt God said this is where I need to be, and she's been here since, and we just love her. That she's great. I call them 3 girls the dream team. We have others fill in on Saturday night every week. It's been a different person. So
We got Dirk Mo gives $20 super chat.
oh really?
Says, hey Rich, my sister-in-law is from out of town watching for the first time, and she'd really like to see your mane hair. Can you swing it around for us?
Okay. Anything for your sister. I just went creepy, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, we just did.
That's what that Cheech and Chong. How much for your sister? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to act like that at all. This is the hair. It's all here. Actually, since you're out of town, I'll stand up for you. Oh my goodness. All right. That's in front. I'm flipping back. And there's the back of the hair. There. Now
It's in the Guinness Book of Records.
It is in the Guinness Book of World Records, yes.
Somebody just now noticed that the pool was normal in the background.
Well, they've been getting stoned.
Good for you, man.
Drink up. Mary Oliver says, great video about Tracy's care. Wish I lived closer. Retired nurse here, but still care for. One woman, she's like Tracy, but was an MBA and no seatbelt on time of accident. Oh, ooh, you're a good man, she says. Well, thank you. Thank you, Mary. And then Kyle says, hey, Big Rich, I comment every video, either first or close to. Morning, OFR. Just want to saunter past video with you, showing us into the real you with taking care of Tracy was a blessing. Oh, thank you. Well, you know, so many people out there like, geez, Rich, you know, put down the camera and pick up and help the guys. I never video me doing the work. Like the other day, last week was it? We were cutting them big logs in half.
Yeah.
And I had the guys, and you know, I'm like, you got to do it like this. On the front of a chainsaw, there's these claws sticking out, and then the blade sticks way out forward. You have to bury them blades into the wood, and then pry up with the handle, and that puts the blade into the wood and cuts, right? A lot of people just take the blade and put it on there and push with their arms, and they don't have the strength that that claw and the leverage will put on there. So you dull the blade. You get it hot, and it dulls. Man, people don't understand that. You got to stick it in with that jaw and then pry against it, and you can cut all kinds of wood all day long and never dull that blade. It never gets hot like that.
And the wood itself will actually cool the blade.
Right.
It's the friction of spinning in there that's causing the heat.
So I'm out there doing all this, you know, chainsawing and do this, and I had to start it for them and show them because they couldn't pull it and all this stuff. I finally get it all running, and I let one of them try it. And I kept on telling them, no, not like that, not like that. You got to do this. And finally, you know, I got one of them doing it okay, and I pick up the video and I start videoing it. Now it looks like he cut this tree for the last 2 hours. You know, nobody sees what I do. It kills me. So either I have to have somebody else follow me around and video everything that I do so that you guys can, or these guys can see me the way they see Josh always working. Or, you know, I show them why I don't really work out there that much because I only got from 12 to 3. And here's why. I'm taking care of Tracy the rest of the time. And if not, you know, those 2 days there, I only get, you know, I got 3.5 hours the first night. And then the second night, I only got 3 hours. But Joshy showed up and I had to get up and help him and do a bunch of stuff. So it was crazy. He was getting ready to leave for Chicago. It was, I think it was Wednesday morning. Yeah, because I had to work another 16 hours Wednesday night. So anyways, you know, the point was I showed people that there is another life here outside of the fish rescue. And people are always on it, you know, oh, yeah, we'll see you in 6 months when the job gets done. You know, them kind of comments, we do the best that we can do. We're taking care of a lot of stuff. Josh has a work all day long, and he comes home, and then he works here, and then he goes home, and he has to take care of his 2 kids and his wife and any projects he's got at his house and the normal manly stuff he's got to do at his house. You know, take the garbage out, air blow the driveway, you know, fix her car, do whatever. And then, you know, he's putting in an hour or 2 a day. I'm putting in 3 hours a day. And, you know, everyone's like, oh, if it wasn't for Josh, that place wouldn't run. And that stuff kills me, you know, which I love my son. He does a hell of a job. He does. But, you know, his thing is to video him doing the projects. So it always, of course, looks like he's working his ass off, you know. So, I mean, I don't do that, so it don't look like I'm working at all. And it kills me. But thank you, Kyle, for commenting on all the videos.
His sidekick sits out there and takes care of the fish and helps Josh.
My sidekick sits out there, smokes his cigar, sits in his chair. Every time I walk out there, you'll see him on the back porch just relaxing. I mean, there was a couple of times I caught him working here and there.
I stay out of the videos on purpose. I'm still trying to figure out how he talked me into doing this. Last night I tried to videotape that stingray. I don't even want to show that to anybody besides my old grainy phone. But I don't know. For my phone, it's beautiful. Crazy Cichlid says, "What the hell? What nurse grabbed Tracy by the hair?" Oh no, we're going back to that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's time for the Tracy update anyway. Let's start the Tracy update, guys. Let's start the Tracy update, guys. So 6:39, Shauna, mark it down. Let's move on to that. Tracy, she's doing real well. You saw her in the video today, and you saw how easy she is to take care of. She's not sick. She hasn't been sick in forever. She's just, you know, I'm so used to it. I know what to expect. I can read that machine like a book, you know. So I know if she coughs and it goes off and beeps twice, I know that it's because she coughs. She squeezes her hand, and that little finger thing got moved, and it didn't register for a second. So it beeps twice, and then it comes back on. I don't even have to get up out of bed. If I hear her cough and then it starts beeping, I know that's going to come right back on. And if it don't, I get up and run to the living room. And usually I find that the finger thing fell off of her finger, because when she coughs, she squeezes, you know, she tenses up. And it's just a clamp that goes on to the end of your finger. So, you know, that it's very easy to read. I can tell, okay, she's down in the 94s, 93s. Okay, I'm going to have to go suction her because she's getting full of fluid. She's not coughing it out. For the most part, she coughs it all out. And she didn't when the first year or two she came home. We had to siphon and suction out internally every like hour. It was terrible. But she's really doing well on taking care of herself now. So I see the numbers going down. I know what's going to happen next. It's going to keep going down because she hasn't coughed yet. And I'll go out there and I'll suction her out and, you know, force her to cough. And I feel so bad for her because she coughs so hard. And, you know, she looks like this little girl, like, what's going on, you know, while she's coughing. I feel so bad for her. I'm like, oh, honey, it's such a violent cough, you know, and stuff like that. But, you know, I don't know. She's really easy to take care of for me. You know, like I said in the video, Latrice has got the hard job because she actually gets her up out of bed during the day, lets her watch TV for a couple hours. She feeds her 3 times a day, which means you got to change her 3 or 4 times a day. And I only have to change her 3 times at night. So if I have a night nurse coming at 11, I only have to change her around 9 o'clock. And then the night nurse, she'll go until, you know, 6:30 in the morning, where the new nurse, Latrice, comes back at, you know, I think it's 7 in the morning. So we got this thing to where every nurse that's here, we get, I'm going to say the patient, which is Tracy, ready for the next nurse. So the next nurse comes on and doesn't have nothing to do right away. They can come on, log on their computer, sit down, take a break. You know, they just fought traffic to get here. In other words, she's not coming into, she's a mess. She needs a diaper change. She's beeping. You know, what's going on? We don't do that to the other nurses. So every nurse is, before you leave, you must change her. You must make sure she's taken care of, siphoned, suctioned out. You know, you got the mist machine bottle filled. You got the suction bottle emptied. Everything's ready for the next nurse to take over the way you got it when you got here, you know? So we press that. Now let's go on to Crazy Cichlid's question is, what the hell? What nurse grabbed Tracy by the hair? That's crazy. We kept noticing all kinds of bruises on Tracy's arms and stuff. And we're like, where did this come from? Why is she bruised up now? You know what I'm saying? And so finally I took my phone, and it was Robin. I don't give a shit if I tell her name or not. It was Robin, the one we've had all these problems with, the ones you guys have said to fire her many times before because of her laziness or whatever. But I went into my room, and then instantly I pulled up the camera for Tracy, and I started recording my phone. I recorded 11 minutes. Out of that 11 minutes, the last 6 minutes, she took Tracy, and she was trying to change her and roll her over. I'm like, why is she changing her? I just changed her and got her ready for you. So anyways, she wants Tracy to roll over. She grabs her by her arm and jerks her and pulls her this way. I'm like, oh my God, that's a girl that's been sitting in a bed for 4.5 years. She's got muscle atrophy and all this stuff, and she don't have built up muscles. You're going to yank something. You're going to rip a tendon off. You're going to, you know, pull her arm out of socket. There's no muscle there. You know what I'm saying? I was so mad about that. And then I saw it. She grabbed Tracy and said, come here. And she pulled her hair like that for her own hair jerked. And Tracy turned back away, and she grabbed her hair and pulled it back again. That's why I come running out. Damn it. I come running out of the bedroom and told her, that's it. You're done. Get out of here. You know, I wanted to beat her damn ass. You know, how dare you touch anybody in my family? I don't care if it's my dog, my kids, my wife, you know. You treat me like that, but don't touch my family, you know. So I had to not. I wanted to just grab her by her hair and walk her out the door, you know, show her what it's like. You know, Tracy's the poor innocent soul sitting there, just, you know, she's got all of her faith in that you'll take care of her because she can't move, you know. She's got that locked in syndrome right now. We know she's aware. She watches me. She looks at me. She watches the nurses. She's intent. She's there, but she's locked in and can't speak. So how How can you even be a nurse if you want to grab someone by their hair and jerk them around? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I called Maxim, told them the thing, and Maxim sent somebody out right away to view the video. And they were mortified. They were like, oh my God, you know? And so that nurse got fired from Maxim, and they said that they have to report it to the nursing board. And I was like, well, you don't have to do all that. Just make sure that, you know, she's not working as a nurse. Get her a desk job or something, you know? I'm not vindictive. I'm not evil. But at the same time, if nobody does anything, she's going to go do that to another patient somewhere else, right? So Maxim says, well, it doesn't matter. Now that it's reported to us, we have to report it to the state nursing board. So I don't know what's happened from that. She probably lost a nursing license. There is nobody in the nursing field that would look at this video and say, well, maybe she was having a bad day. No. Anybody who sees this video, I've had people instantly start crying, you know. When I showed Marion, she went to just sobbing instantly. It was, you know, how dare someone touch her Tracy like that, you know? So I don't know. I don't know what happened to her. All I know is she's not working for Maxim no more. And she's not here taking care of our Tracy. So
here would be a very dangerous place for her to be.
Right. The point is, Tracy's like a newborn baby. Are you going to take a baby by its hair and jerk it around? You know, that's an innocent baby. He's done nothing to nobody. It's relying on you as the mother, the father, the aunt, whoever's taking care of her to give her good care. You know, change her, feed her, take care of her. You know, just because there's some idiots on the internet saying, you know, it's time, it's long enough. Tracy needs to just be put to rest. You know, you can't do that now. I had that choice when it first happened, and she was on 8 machines, and they said, oh, she don't have no brain activity. She'll never come off these 8 machines. And that Dr. Kumar wanted me to pull the plug then and there. And, you know, he had me, had both of my sons and their girlfriend. Everybody was bawling. Everybody was in tears. And he left, you know, that sadistic son of a bitch. And then another doctor come in and says, listen, calm down. It might not be that bad, okay? The brain could be swollen from lack of oxygen, which is what happened. Because it was 8 minutes. I was doing CPR on her before the medics got here, okay? But later we found out, since I was doing CPR on her on the bed, it wasn't as effective. And then later on we found out that she was so low on blood, she was puking blood out all the time, you know, and wasn't telling me, or was so delusional because she didn't know my name or nothing, that she didn't even know she was puking blood. She'd just come out of the bathroom and be like, I just puked my brains out. And I'm like, it's okay, honey. Let's get you laid back down, you know. And she didn't know my name and stuff like that. So by putting all this together, we realized her narcolepsy medicine for her what's that when you fall asleep walking? Narcolepsy. Her narcolepsy medicine, if you cold turkey it and stop taking it, she goes into a delusional thing for like the last time it happened, Metro did it to her, and she went into 3 months not knowing who me the kids were, right? And now we can look back and say, okay, she was puking, so she wasn't getting her medication. So that's what made her, you know, because I got a video of me talking to her right before she died of, you know, how are you doing? You look like you're feeling better. And she goes, better than I did before. And I'm like, you sound terrible, Tracy. Now, this is after I had her at the hospital 2 days earlier, and they sent her home saying it's an upper respiratory infection. I'm like, you can't release her. She's like a puppy with parvo. If I pick her up, she's going to shit her pants. She has no strength at all. And they're like, sir, she's got an upper respiratory infection. We have no beds. Take her home. So I took her home, and I cared for her. And every time she had to puke, I'd pick her up. I'd take her to the bathroom. I'd go out, give her privacy. I'd close the door. I'd stand outside the door. When she was done, I heard the toilet flush. I'd go in, help her up, and I'd take her back to bed. And I got better because we were both sick. I got better. She didn't. So then she didn't know my name. And when she said a lot better than I was feeling before, I go, what's my name? And she goes, and I'm like, oh, so you are doing better. You didn't know my name yesterday. I've got this video. And that's when she coughed, and there was like splotches of like black tar on her hand. So I called the hospital back. I'm like, look, she's coughing up this black stuff. Looks like tar out of her lungs, and she's not a smoker. And they said, oh my God, she's bleeding internally. You get her in here now. And that's when I picked her up, and I was going to take her to the hospital, but she was adamant. She wanted to shower before she left anywhere. So I took her in, and I sat her in her chair, in the shower chair, and I got this like dog sprayer, and I used that, and I cleaned her off, and I washed her all up. And when I went to put the dog sprayer back, she leaned against my back, and I'm like, what the hell? And then I heard, it was the longest breath out I've ever heard in my life. And that was it. She was gone. She died. Now looking back, we know that it was because she was so low in blood, and we had her sitting up in the shower chair. So, I took her, I bear hugged her, I put her on the bed, I called 911, I had on speakerphone, I start doing compressions, and all this black coffee ground looking stuff come out of her. So I'm like, oh, I turned her, I pulled her shoulder towards me, I pushed on her solar plexus, and she puked out like 2 more coffee mugs full of this stuff all over the bed. She's laying in it. I'm doing compressions now, because now I can do compressions. And I saw this on South Park, 30 compressions, 2 breaths of air. So now I've got this black stuff all over my mustache because I'm holding her nose and I'm blowing air, and I'm going back and I'm doing compressions for this whole 8 minutes, And finally the fire department, the EMS shows up, and I bear hug her, and I pull her out. At this point, I had taken a couple seconds break in between, and I put on a pair of shorts and a t-shirt on her. Shorts once, and then go back to CPR, and then a couple minutes later, I had her shirt here, so I put her shirt on, I'd go back to CPR. But no one ever told me that on the bed it's not as effective as if you had her on the floor. I didn't know. And she was so low on blood that if a doctor was there, they would have held her legs up, not let them be over the edge of the bed and down. They would have held the legs up so more blood would get to her head. I learned all this after the fact, So I had to live with the fact that I didn't really help her. But anyways, when the medics get there, I come carrying her out. I bear hugged her, and they said, put her on the floor. I put her on the floor, and they put this machine on her that was like, and I'm like, oh my God. I stepped back. I'm like, oh, you're going to kill her. And they're like, yeah, we break ribs all the time, but that's what you need to get a heartbeat back. And they got her heartbeat back. And I was so happy. I'm like, thank you guys. Thank you so much. And I'm crying and shit. And here I am. I got this black coffee ground shit all over my face. Looks like I was eating human flesh or something, And they're all like, what the hell? I didn't know I had it on my face. But I'm giving her breaths in between, It was crazy. It was crazy. But, the doctor said, she'd never live a life and this and that, and pull the plug. So the other doctor come in and said, let's wait till next Friday, which is agreeable. It's only a week. We can pull the plug then if we have to, Maybe the swelling will go down, and then we'll be able to get a CAT scan and see if there is, activity in the brain, and this and that. And the other doctor said she'll never come off them 8 machines keeping her alive. And by that next Friday, she had worked off 7 of those 8 machines. She was only on a ventilator left, and that's because they weren't willing to take it off of her. I guarantee they could have, because she came off of it so easy for me at home. They kept her on it the whole time she was in the hospital, the whole time she was in the nursing home. And when I got her home, I would take it off of her, and I'd see if her, her oxygen levels went down. And then I took the oxygen cable, the little 1/4-inch cable, and I put it right in by her trach and hold it there. And her oxygen levels never went down. She was breathing on her own, And then I talked to the doctor about this, and she said, well, she may be tired from not using the muscles. I wouldn't, just cold turkey her like that. So I had Tracy on the ventilator at nighttime for like 4 or 5 months. But all day long, I made this apparatus that clipped onto the trach, and it was right in front of it, releasing the oxygen. And she was on this oxygen, and I got her down from 4 liters all the way down to 2, so which is barely anything. And she was staying at 98 all the time on oxygenation. She worked off of the ventilator. She's on nothing now except for oxygen and a mist, because you know, we breathe air in through our warm mouth, our wet mouth, or it goes through our sinuses, through our nose, all that, and warms up and gets moist before it hits the lungs. People with trachs, they're breathing cold air in and going straight to their lungs, and mucus will dry out in the lungs and it becomes a mucus plug, closing off that section of lungs. So we have to have this whole trach cap cover on her, bringing in the warm, moist air. That's the only thing she's still on. And that's because of the trach. If we can get the trach out of there, the doctor won't remove the trach until she's communicative. In other words, she'll be able to say yes or no and this and that, and be able to talk in some way, shape, or form, blinking or squeezing hands or whatever. Once that happens, they'll take her off the ventilator. Or she's not on a ventilator. She'll take her off of the moist air going into her trach. They'll take the trach out, is what they say. So, you know, she's doing really well, and there is no pulling the plug now. If I pulled the plug now, it's murder. You know what I'm saying? She will sit there, and her oxygen levels will go down and deplete and deplete and deplete. She'll cough and cough and cough, and then, you know, she's going to die. And that's murder. That's not pulling the plug. You know, it's not a I'm doing this to put you out of your misery. She's in no misery. She's other than being locked in, which has got to be a hell in its own. You know, she can't talk to me, but she sees me there every single day. I always give her kisses on her forehead. I always tell her we're going to be there for her. Don't worry about nothing. You just work on, you know, trying to communicate, either blinking or squeezing my hand some way. You try and work on that, honey. And, you know, as much as she follows me around, I tried that yes-no board, and I don't know if she's not getting it, not understanding me or what, but it's not working out yet. But, you know, now that she's moving her arms, I put her here, and she'll move her arm here. That's a voluntary movement where she's more comfortable. I put her arm back down here, she moves it back to here. And then all the other nurses have seen it now, except for Latrice. Latrice hasn't seen it yet. But, you know, that's her own movements, you know? So that's a big step in the right direction, because she got movement all the way up from her toes to her legs now, and then from her head down to her shoulders. And now, like if I take, there's this thing that's got a bunch of wires, and you put it on someone's head, and you just massage their head. If I take that, put that on her, she goes like this. She goes, and you can see her just enjoy. She's like having an orgasmic reaction to this. And I scratch her hair for her and scratch her head for her. And, you know, every time I come in there and say, hi, honey, I'm here to watch you, I'll do that for her. So she's always, you know, noticing when I'm there, she gets this great feeling, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, she moves her shoulders, but her arms, she only moved when she coughed or she was stretching. Other than that, she had no movement on her. Now she moves it on her own where she wants it. And, you know, she turns on her side if she wants to. She moves around a lot. So we have to prop her up to keep her in the position that we keep her in for that 2 hours. And then the next 2 hours, we put her in a different position off of that muscles, you know. And so this was a big step in the right direction for me. I was so happy to see it, because next is our hands. And that's all we need. If the doctor can see that she's squeezing our hand when we command her to or ask her to, he will move her up from a vegetative state, which she's at the top of right now. She started at the bottom because she was in a coma. Then she went to a vegetative state. Then she worked all the way to the top of that. And as soon as the doctor can ask her questions and she answers it, he'll move her into the minimally conscious state, where now she's open to a bunch more programs. Physical therapy, the main thing I care about, where they'll come out and they'll do physical therapy on her for like 2 hours a day. You know, that's great. I want that so much.
Gotta learn how to use that body again.
Well, that, and they have certain machines, like a bicycle machine that's an automatic that straps her foot in so that her legs do this motion, or they go the other way. Yeah. They have other machines that go above the bed and you know, help out. We're not access to that yet because she's in a vegetative state, but she's at the top of that state, and all she has to do, you know, I've seen her blink like when I asked her to, but I can't guarantee it because it don't happen all the time, you know. So once something happens, I keep working on that until that happens consistently. Then I can tell the doctor, well, she'll blink if you tell her, you know, blink for yes, and don't blink for no, whatever, you know. But, you know, he wants her hand to squeeze. So that's what we're waiting on now. Oh, sorry, guys. Drink up. And I'm sorry. that on Friday nights you have to see me fucking tear up and shit. I'm sorry about that. But it's hard for me to talk about her without tearing up because it's such a waste. This poor little girl did not need this. She did not need to go through this. It was a hospital's fault. You know, if they'd have kept her, they know more than me. I've never had her in a hospital where I was upset with their care, you know. Now, at Metro, they sent her home too early. I was pissed about that. But they always took care of her. You know, I got hooked her up to machines, and there's a whole staff there. So the hospital care is good. The nursing care is horrible. But if they would have kept her, this would have never happened. This is so senseless. All because, you know, Metro Hospital wanted to send her home and said she's got an upper respiratory infection. No, she had COVID before you knew what COVID was. We found that out. There's a test you can take to see if you had COVID before, and she did. And we never had COVID. You know, once it came out, like 2 months later, you know, then I wasn't able to see her in the nursing homes and stuff like that. And it turns out that they gave her a test and found out she did have COVID before. So that's what me and her had before COVID was a thing. Because I've been sick many times in my life. I'm 61 years old. But I've never been sick to where I had no energy like that. I mean, I was on my hands and knees going to the bathroom to try and puke, you know. I just didn't have no energy. I'd stop and take a break and lay on the carpet for a while and get back up and make it to the bed. I had no energy. I've been sick many times, but never that low energy of a sickness. It's the same sickness as other times. You know, you puke, you throw up, you feel hot and feverish, you feel cold, whatever. It was the same thing, except for this time, now you have no energy to do nothing. And it blew me away. I didn't know what the hell this was. I mean, I was like, this is sicker than I've ever been before, you know?
You're just flat puny, man. You have no energy to do anything.
Uh-huh. So, anyways, that's how that happened. If the hospital would have kept her there, I took her to Cleveland Clinic too the 2 days before then because Metro didn't do shit about it. So I took her over to Cleveland Clinic, and they're the ones. I'm sorry, Metro didn't say she has an upper respiratory infection. They said, I don't know, she's just sick. You know, she got a cold. So I took her to Cleveland Clinic, and they're the ones that sent her home with an upper respiratory infection and 2 medications, which didn't help at all. Oh, Chris, you're going to make me tear up again. You bringing up Tracy and Brian? Oh, my God. You know what kills me is Brian was here a month before he died. And he was so full of life, and so he didn't even look sick, you know? He said he was sick, but he didn't look sick, and he didn't act sick. You know how Brian is. Oh, my God, look at her. What a gorgeous creature. And he'd held up the snake. And I mean, it was Brian all the way. There was no sickness. And a month later, he's gone. That fucking killed me. I mean, I don't know. He was such a bright star in the night, you know what I'm saying? He was so full of life, and then all of a sudden it's gone. You know, 3 weeks later, I see his message where he's saying bye to everybody, and then 2 days later, he's gone.
That was only 2 weeks later, and I was having a conversation with him about being a cancer survivor.
Well, let's move past this. Tracy's doing really good. She's I don't know. She's very easy to take care of. I don't know. She's doing really well. I'm very happy with how she's being, and I can't wait till the next step because, you know, I saw her when she first moved her toes. You know, she came home from the nursing home. She had what they call ballerina feet, where her toes were sticking straight down. You know, and she was tensed up like she has a Charlie horse in every arm, leg, muscle, butt, everything. And she was so tense. And then I saw her start to, you know, I'm washing her bottom of her feet with a cold wet nap, and she's like, well, she pulled away. I'm like, oh, you can move your foot now, honey. You know, and so now I went and got an ice cube, and I started doing that, and it was because of the cold. So that I was so happy to see her move that I didn't even realize I'm putting her in pain of this coldness. I didn't even realize that. I'm like, oh, look at you moving. Let's try that again. You know, I'm so dumb. But then she started, you know, when I was washing behind her knees, she started moving, and she moved her whole leg away from me. I'm like, oh my God, now you're moving your knees, you know, this and that. And then I took that video. I think I got it right here. Let me show you guys. Yeah, you hush, old man. Read that. Tracy right here. This background is when she started moving her leg on her own, and I had to get a video. So it might show a little bit of Tracy, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm so proud of this moment, you know. Oh, I got to turn off the cichlids, I think. Yeah. Where's the cichlid background? There's the mics. Okay, here's the webcam. All right. Cichlid background is, it's not the cichlid background. It's this one right here. Okay, so now I got to read this one, find Tracy by here. Birthday, New York. There's webcam. What's this one? No, it's a new background. Not that one. New Year's Eve, full background, Christmas, coral. I was just gonna have to go through as you want because I can't see. I can't read them.
This is aquarium.
Okay. Full background. Let's turn that off. Let's start from the top. Actually, let's go up to the one that said Tracy up here. Is this
Tracy,
it?
right there. It says Tracy.
It says Tracy, but it don't do nothing. All right, so let's go under the webcam. Cichlid background, new background. Let's try that. Nope, that wasn't no good. This one. Oh, this is it. Now watch her. Got her legs there. She's moving that on her own, up and down. This is when she started moving her whole legs. I was like, oh my God, Tracy, you're able to move your legs. She's doing this on her own. This is not a normal response like if you know you poke her with a needle and she pulls away. That's a normal response. That's not voluntary, you know. This here is voluntary. She's moving her legs on her own. I was so happy when that happened, and that was like 2 years ago now.
Yeah, it's just a twitch. It's a twitch.
Well, no, you can see it's not just a twitch. She's moving it up.
I know,
She's moving it down.
I'm just saying you can watch this.
Right. Yeah. And then, you know, she did that, and now she went from, you know, moving just her toes to moving her whole ankles to moving her knees and everything below, and then moving her whole leg like that. So she got her movement back from her toes all the way up, but she got her movement on the top part from her head down to her shoulders, because you'll see her, she can move her shoulders on her own, but she don't move her arms. And now that she's actually moving her arms, guess what's next? Her fingers and hands. Yes, yes. So we're going to just keep crossing our fingers. She's going to keep progressing. And once she gets to that point, she's going to open up a whole new area with a lot more people around, a lot more people helping her out. And, you know, that's going to be great. So let me turn on the background again. What background do you guys want? Oh, no, that's locked. Oh, that's Tracy. That one. That one. There's our cichlid background. I'll just leave it at that. I don't have to look no farther. All right. All right. So that's 7:08. It's about done with the Tracy update. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Along with the long video today. I know it was kind of boring because I'm not pointing at Tracy. I'm pointing off to all of her stuff, but I'm talking in the background and you see what I'm saying. You know, move this leg here, move this over. Okay, honey, I'm going to suction you out. You know, okay, I got to turn you over to put the, you know, the diaper on and stuff like that. And I talk to her all the time. And I think it would be a lot harder. Everybody says, you know, what I do is so hard, but it's not. I think it would be a lot harder if she was just gone, like what happened with Lori and Brian. She don't have him to talk. I can still talk to Tracy, you know. I can still take care of her. She's still in my life. I didn't have to say goodbye yet, you know. So I think it's easier this way for me than it was if she would have just been gone, you know. And all I got is memories, you know. I don't know. Anyways, Mary Oliver says, I had to advocate along with my woman's husband to have her trach removed. She is non-alert, non-verbal. We anticipate her every needs. Trach free now. Occasional suctioning daily, nightly. See, the doctors won't do that here. That we're on a program called something in-home care, something or another, and we have to follow by their rules, or they won't do in-home care. One of the rules is they will not remove the trach until she is responsive. So when the doctor says she's responsive, that's when she's responsive. It don't matter if she says yes or no to me on occasion or, you know, whatever. She has to do it with the doctor there. So that's what we're waiting on next. That's our next big step. Well, actually, our next big step is to see her move her hands on self, you know, because I can put my hand in her hand and she'll grab on. And then the more I pull away, the harder she'll pull. But I go, let go, and she won't let go. You know, I have to slowly just let my hand out and pull away, you know. And then she goes back to being like Charlie horse again. So no matter how much I fight, they will not take that trach out unless she's responsive. That's their rules to have this program here. So I can't do no more with that. I can't fight them. Mary says Tracy is a survivor. You know, I've seen that girl. I remember this one girl. She was like 5'11", and Tracy's 5 foot. And this is way back when, you know, 25 years ago or so. And you know, this girl came over, and you know, she tried borrowing money from me, and you know, I'd already borrowed her like $10 or something. She wanted to borrow more money, and you know, because I wouldn't borrow money, she's like, well, then F you, Big Rich, and she slammed the door and went out the house. Tracy was like, what? And she ran out the door, and I go running out to, you know, get Tracy and, you know, stop her, you know. By the time I got to Tracy, she had this big woman by her hair on the ground. You don't ever mess with my husband. And she went off on her. I was like, Tracy, it's okay, it's okay. I grabbed her up and pulled her off of her. And needless to say, I've never seen that other woman since. You know what I'm saying?
A video of the dog taking.
She never paid me back.
Don't want anything you can't afford to give away.
Right.
No, that video of the dog taking her off her feet and her having to talk with that dog that day.
Oh, you're the black one?
Yeah.
That was Goliath, our big Great Dane.
Taking her off her feet that day.
Yeah.
That's good.
And he was just playing.
She let that dog go, though.
So anyways. James McNally says, can't you just remarry Tracy? That's what she's always wanted. I know. And I told her, and I tell her all the time, the moment that you can say yes or no, I will remarry you. I mean, for God's sake, she's basically died for her sins, you know? I should have let that shit go years ago. But, you know, you're always told, once a cheater, always a cheater, blah, blah, blah. You know, I divorced her, and then she came up with this whole thing to put me in jail where her girlfriend kicked her in the leg while they were out at some bar. And, you know, I'm taking my kids to school at 7 o'clock in the morning, and Medina police are at my door. I'm like, can I help you? And they're like, are you Rich Price? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I've done nothing wrong. And they're like, we have to take you into custody now against the wall. And they handcuff me and stuff. I'm like, my kids, I'm watching my kids. I'm taking them to school now. And they're like, is there anybody you can call? So here it turns out I called the one person that was helping Tracy out in this whole scheme against me to get me arrested. Was Marilyn. So Marilyn comes and watches the kids. I go to jail. I get processed. I get bonded out. I come home probably 6, 8 o'clock that night. And now she's saying that I beat her with a 2x4. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's all 5 foot. If I beat her with anything, she'd be in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, she's got scars. I'm like, what are you talking about? They said she's got her whole leg is bruised up. I'm like, what? You know, so then I go to court in Medina court, and we go in there, and they're saying that they're going to take my kids from me. They're going to have me put in jail for domestic violence and all this stuff. And every time I went to talk, that judge was like, stop. You want what do they call that when you contempt of court? I'll put you in jail for 10 days right now. You say another word. And I'm over here. I'm ready. I'm almost in tears. I'm so upset. I can't even speak up for myself. And this whole courtroom is against me and this and that. And here I am, the good father. You know, she's the one that walked away from the kids. I'm raising the kids. I'm taking care of the kids. And now this. I'm like, what the hell? So, you know, finally, Marilyn they call Marilyn to the stage as her witness. And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? I tell my lawyer, I'm like, you go up there and you just ream her a new life. I swear to God, she'll break down and tell the truth. I swear to God, I know Marilyn. You get her ready to cry and she'll just bust. And that's exactly what happened. The lawyer went up there and questioned her so hard and caught her up in a couple different lies. And next thing you know, she's like, it was all Tracy's idea. She said if Rich would get arrested, she'd get the house and the kids and everything and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what the hell? And then the judge, he was so nice to me. And he reamed her out. How dare you try and use my court against this innocent man? I mean, he reamed her out, threatened her with jail time and everything. And the case was dismissed. But you know what's fucked up? It's still on my record as, my arrest record says my only charge of domestic violence was this. And, it was nullied. It was not to be ever in court at all. I did not deserve the charge, but it's still on my arrest record. So, it's horrible. But, then after that is when she ended up homeless and I let her move back in under conditions. My children deserve a good mother. You're going to become a good mother if you're going to live here. Your life is over with. The way you thought life is, no. You're going to be a good person with ethics and morals and everything else. And I did everything I could to bestow the right from wrong into her. And, she was watching Little House on the Prairie. I was like, you know what? You might not even like this show. Figure any show, anybody that you see as a good mother, and you take on them traits. You know that saying, fake it till you make it? That's exactly right. You act that way and you become that way. And the next thing you know, it becomes nature to you. This is how you act. You have that little voice in your head that tells you right from wrong. Don't do this or this and that, or, because everybody, I don't care who you are. Your body may get turned on by that person, but it's your heart and your mind that tells you, I can't do that to my mate. I'd love to, but I can't do that. It's the people that don't listen to their inner heart that go off and have fun and do this stuff and then think it's no big deal and then go back to living a life of marriage with their partner, but they're living a life of deceit and lies. And when I did find out 3 years later, of course I divorced her. How can you? At that point, I was like, you're my baby. You're my one and only somebody special. We have kids now. I bought her the house. I got her a car. I tinted the windows. I put rims on it. I put a system in it. And at that time, she was in a Tweety Bird. So I had Tweety Bird, foot, the things that you go onto your feet, the mud things, flaps or whatever, inside the car mats. And I had the Tweety Bird steering wheel and Tweety Birds hanging from the mirror and all this stuff. And she had a big loud system with 215s on the hatchback that would, oh my God, I decked her out because that's my woman. That's my little baby. And it was horrid. It was morbid for me to think that my baby would touch somebody else, and I just couldn't deal with it, and the way she told me it was so ruthless. I skid. I was driving my 79 Camaro. It had a 454 with 250 horse of nitrous, a turbo 400, a 12-bolt posi rear end, jacked up big old N50 15s on the back. And we're driving that, and she just blurted it out and told me, and I went sick. I skid that car to a stop in the middle of the road. I fell out of the driver's seat. I was on my hands and knees in the middle of the road, dry heaving. I felt like puking, but I couldn't puke. And it was just like, it was sickening to me, So I divorced her, and then all this stuff happened. How can you turn on me like that when you say you love me? You're going to put me in jail for something I didn't do just so that you can have the house because your girlfriends are talking in your ear? No, you got to be your own person. You got to listen and understand this is a set of rules that I will and won't do. I will not be this kind of person. I will do this. I want to help people. I don't want to hurt things. I don't want to make life worse. You got to set your own. Nobody can police you but yourself. But I had to teach this to her. And, for the last, it's been 25 years or so. 95 is when I divorced her. She came back in 96.
Oh, let's table this part of the Tracy. You already ended the Tracy update once.
I know.
Table
96, 2006, 2016, 2026 would be 30 years next year. So it's 29 years ago. But I'm telling you, in the first 4 or 5 years, she adhered to everything. She was going to therapy. She was doing everything. And everybody she talked to about my rules and regulations was like, well, that's good. You need ethics. You need morals. You need this, you know. And she learned it all. I should have given it away up a long time ago, but I was so skeptical, you know. But now, after she died, and I, you know, she's in the hospital, and I see these letters from her and from her therapist that, you know, she wrote to me that never gave to me. I mean, all that girl wanted was to be remarried, you know, and she deserves that. I mean, basically, she died, okay? Let's say she died for her sins, whatever. I should have forgave her before that because of what a good person she had been for the last 25 years. I mean, if you got somebody that's a good person to you for 25 years, you learn to trust them, you learn to believe in them, you learn to, you know, rely on them, and you know, and they're just a good person anymore. You know, forget what they did 25, 29 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I, as a man, just didn't let that shit go. You know? But anyways, the point was, I already told her, and I tell her all the time, I will remarry her the moment she can say yes. So, you know, that's where that sets. I've completely forgiven her for everything in the past because I know she was weak-minded and she was just listening to her friends saying, oh, girl, you don't need to, no, you can take that house, you can do this, you can have the kids, blah, blah, blah. You know, I didn't force her out. She left on her own accord and you know, left me the kids, and she just gone, you know, with her new boyfriend. So she was weak-minded, and I taught her, and she became a great woman, and I have nothing but respect for her now. And especially after she's gone, I've seen how much she helped me around here, and she done the work of two people. I swear to God, you know. So, you know, you can damn sure bet as soon as she's able to say yes or no, we're getting married. That's a fact. Raheem says, today's video was great and I loved it. Are you guys even keeping up with me? You see me drinking all the time. Ding, ding, ding. That means you drink. Come on now. Chris Junkin, Tropical Fish Company, says, I'm on the outer banks of North Carolina. We are dealing with sand on the highway and beach erosion. There was a lot of sand moved yet, from high winds and stuff.
They're dealing with a hurricane right now.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. It's
well, definitely high winds then.
Going up the East Coast. It's not coming in, actually making landfall, but that's almost worse on those East Coasts, you know. They just roll up the coast.
Man, what did we leave off? There we go. So anyways, Jenny is housebound and bored. Oh my goodness. It is so lovely the way you talk to her. I was a caretaker to my mom, post-stroke for 5 years. And one point she really drove home was communicate about what's happening as it's happening. It matters. See, I do that to Tracy. I'm like, okay, honey, I'm lifting your legs. Okay, here's where you got to stop fighting me. You're going to help me now. I need to spread her knees, you know, put the diaper up between there and this and that. So I got this thing where I push the knees and I push it open and I put the other knee on my elbow here. So now this arm can hold the knees open because she wants to clamp close. And then I can put the diaper up and, you know, do this. And then I hold the diaper up and switch hands and then let her knees close. Now she holds that up for me. And I let her legs down, and then she stretches every time. I tell her to stretch, she stretches. So while she's holding in place, I'll take her arm, put the tabs of the diaper up, put her arm next to it. Same thing on the other side. Now her arm's on her side holding the tabs up for me. So then I can put it on here and put a nice, clean, straight, you know, and tighten it up. And, you know, I really get thrilled when I get the tabs perfectly in line, not off to one side, you know, and they're perfectly in line with their belly button and stuff. I'm like, look, Latrice, I got the diaper perfect. So it's the little things in life that make you proud that, you know. Chad Emmedick says, oh, Chad, you poor man. You probably grew up with all kinds of shit in school. Chad is a dick. Chad Emmedick. Oh, my God, I can see it now. You poor guy. Remember in a video you showed the 10,000 eBay plat? Yeah. What did you sell? Storage locker stuff? Did Tracy used to help run the account? Yes. Well, she didn't run the account, but she went with me. We used to go around and buy storage locker stuff. We'd go to garage sales. We went everywhere. I bought stuff off the Craigslist and stuff like that and resold it online. Anything where I can get a deal, I'd buy it for the deal. I call everybody. You want $100? I'm going to offer you 60. And 90% said no, but there was that 10% that said yes, and I went and picked it up, and then I'd put it up for the same price they wanted for it. I'd make my 40% off that sale. And I worked my ass off as a side project for the eBay thing, which I was also doing my Rich's Carpet at the time, where I was working for Cabot Renovations and AJ Lewis Associates. They'd buy houses and gut them out, remake them, remodel them, do whole new kitchens, all new bathrooms, everything. And then they'd call me. I'd come in there and I'd put the padding in. And then they'd have this cardboard like A-frame with like 24 different types of carpet on there. And they sold the house with your choice of colors for each room. So once they chose what colors they wanted for each room, then I come in, I would take the measurements, I'd go to Statecrest, pick up the carpet in the daytime, and then I'd go back at nighttime and I'd lay the carpet while my kids are sleeping. I'd do the first room. Tracy would sit with them in the car. I'd take my tools in. I'd do the first room and a small bedroom or something. And then the kids would lay in there and, go back to sleep. And we had their pillows and their blankets with them. And I'd finish the rest of the whole house. And then we'd go home like 5, 6 in the morning. And, then 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, they'd go to school. And we lived life like that forever. But at nighttime, in between all this, I was fixing people's cars. I was a bouncer at many different bars around Cleveland, all the Punch Palaces and stuff like that. So, I mean, I did everything I could to make money for the family, and it worked out. I ended up buying the house next door, then the house a couple doors down. I ended up buying 9 properties, and, now they're all paid for, and I don't owe nothing to nobody, my cars are paid for. Everything's paid for. I don't owe no bills, except for the normal bills that come in and the rescue bills, So, I mean, I did pretty good from a kid that was thrown out at 15 by his father, and I had to go to Florida on a Honda 125, siphoning gas all the way. I mean, I was given no help in life at all. I was thrown out and discarded. And then I came back and I built this all up myself. That's why when I went through my phase where I was going to all the strip clubs and I was doing all these different girls and blah, blah, blah. But when I finally got married, that's it. I'm never going to cheat on this woman. I'm never going to nothing. I've got my family now. That's what I wanted, was a family. And then we had, Joshy or Richie and then Josh. And I had already had Richard, but that was from a stripper that she took him from me and I didn't see him. On his first birthday, she took him and I didn't see him again until he was like 11 or so. No one would tell me where they are. No one knew her no more. She just moved away and that was it. And I ran across them. One of my buddies was in a drive-through parking lot and saw Richard and he looked just like me. And he goes, "Is your name Richard?" And he was like, "Yeah." "Your dad's Richard?" He goes, "Yeah." Oh my God. He goes, and Richard was scared, because he was taught by his mother that, oh, big mean guy, blah, 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 and this and that, So he didn't even want to know me or meet me, And here, it couldn't be farthest from the truth, because we have a great relationship now. But, he came home and told me, and I went up to there, and I met him, and he came over and spent the day there, and blah, blah, blah. And then he started coming over and spending weekends with me and stuff like that. And then I think it was from I don't know, about 8 years, I got to have him a month through the summer and then every other holiday and then weekends. I got father's rights. And I always made sure he had fun when he was over, So, he just had his little daughter. And so now I've got 2 granddaughters and 1 grandson. So, I mean, everything's great now that the kids were allowed to see me. They understood who I am and how I am. And, I'm all about family and goodness and, helping people and all that. And, people say you help people so much you get taken advantage of. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? I'd rather somebody borrow $10 from me and never come back into my life because they don't want to pay back that $10. You know what I'm saying? Well, shows who they are. They're gone. Bye. I get other people that come here for community service and then they come back and keep on hanging out here, helping out, because that's such a cool place, and they just love they have so much a good time here, you know. And we made a lot of friends through community service like that. So if I'm such a bad guy, like his mother said, you know, what the hell? But he knows the truth now. Now he sees it, because, you know, she still gets drunk and messed up and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I can't deal with her when she's drinking. I'm like, welcome to the crowd. I got nothing bad to say about her. She was the love of my life before Tracy, and she shouldn't have left me. She'd still be with me today, which she regrets now, because she came over here, and it was Tracy's birthday like 6 years ago or so. And she came over with Richard, and she saw the house. She saw that I'm still with Tracy. And she remembers Tracy from when me and her lived together on Lawn Avenue. Tracy was the girl that lived like 4 houses down. But once she took my kid and left, Tracy was there for me, you know. She was, you know, she was just, I was a mess, you know. I've never had a kid before, and then she took him. I was a mess. Yeah. And Tracy was like, you know, she just took over and helped me out. And knowing that, I still don't know why she cheated on me, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, so I married Tracy, and we had 2 more boys. So now I got 3 boys, and you know, we're waiting on Tracy to come back and join the family again. James McNally says, I'm sorry, Big Rich, if I touched a nerve with one of your mods. James, I'm sorry, I didn't see anything that's happened. Mods, see, here's a problem. It's not easy to take what people are saying, whether they're joking, because like if I go, look at this cantankerous old man, you know, and I'm sitting there laughing like that, you know I'm joking. You know, Jerry wouldn't live here if I didn't like Jerry, you know. So, but if I type it out, they're like, oh man, Rich really don't like that dude. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no feelings conveyed on there. So you don't know if you're joking or if you were serious.
Half the language is missing.
Right. So if you go back and read whatever you said, look at it like an outsider and see, oh my God, it could have meant something worse, you know, or something bad. And a model just delete it, you know. So I'm sorry that happened. You know, obviously you care and you still want to be here. You're apologizing to me. Don't worry about it. You know, I know for a fact that translations get lost in typing, because geez, you know how many times Skylar got pissed at me because I'm typing her, and I'm like, why are you mad? You know, no, stop it, Jerry.
No,
I'm like,
why?
why are you mad? And she's, well, you said this, and I'm like, no, that's not how I meant that at all. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm not, why, you shouldn't be mad, you know? But because of text, she takes things wrong. I mean, she's one of those people that if you read something, she'll come up with the worst possible scenario it could mean. You know, I'm like, I didn't mean that at all. I'm sorry you took it that way. I meant like this, you know, and I explained it to her, and then it's all good, you know? So it happens to everybody with text.
No, that's what I meant. That's what I was going to say, that I'm only responsible for what I say, not responsible for what you hear.
Yeah, well, you still, if you care, you still got to fix it. And James apologized. He fixed it, even though he didn't mean anything wrong.
Yeah, I wasn't saying about it. I just, you know, people misunderstand.
Happy American Dad says, Big Rich, I went to the Legacy Aquarium this week and spoke to the lead aquarist. Sorry to inform you, but Charlie died a month after the donation. Don't know why they would not tell you. Well, maybe they were nervous. Maybe they're, you know, upset. You know, I don't know. I mean, I knew this had happened. I mean, there's no reason not to talk to me. I knew this is what had happened, you know. I mean, I knew it in my heart. I was hoping it wasn't true. But if you said somebody from there said it, must be true then.
Not necessarily.
James says, it was Sue Ann. I apologize if I offended Sue Ann. Well, Sue Ann, she's a mean one. You know, she can fly off the handle. I'm sorry, Sue Ann. Don't take that wrong. I was kidding. Don't drive all the way here and whoop my ass, okay?
No more sausage and gravy for you.
Right, no more sausage and gravy for me.
I haven't been looking, but I haven't seen her commenting. She might be busy. She's usually not. There it goes. should have known better. She got
Sue Ann says, no offense, James taken. She just deleted whatever she thought could be offensive or whatever. It's all good. See, that's why Sue Ann's my mind, you know. I trust her. I believe in her. She's a good girl. Now, I must say that because if I pissed her off, she'd whoop my ass. I love you, Sue Ann. Oh, Mary, talking about before, Rich, you would lose your home care if the trade came out. That's the downside of it. Yeah, that's horrible. I got to go by the rules, though. And that's the only reason they say we're a free country. We're not free. We're only free if we follow their rules, right? You buy your own house, I have to pay them. You know, like right now, this house here, I bought it and I was paying $4,500 a year in taxes. Last year, I had to pay $9,500 a year because of my additions and stuff. And now this year, it's going to be around 10 grand a year. And if I don't pay that, they can take my house from me. You know, it's crazy. So, you know, we're not free. As long as we pay them, as long as we listen to them and follow their rules, we got the semblance of freedom, period. Blake Weber says, I never understood staying with a cheater because I was a man. Hell no, no woman's going to cheat on me. I had all the women I wanted back in the day. But, you know, this was my marriage. This is my children's mother and this and that. And, you know, I divorced her. I would not put up with it. But when she was, you know, living in the streets and needed a place to stay, I mean, I hated her at the moment. I hated her. I gave her the chance to live here, but you're going to learn. You're going to change. You're going to be a good mother that my children deserve, you know? And she did. So, you know, I'm glad that I went through all that with her. I'm glad that she put up with all my hatred for years. You know, I the first 5 years or so, it was always snide comments, you know, this and that, you know, oh, I'm going to try and be there for you tomorrow. Yeah, right. Okay. You know, I never believed in her. I hated her. You know, she was a mean, evil bitch is what I thought at the time. You know, how can anybody cheat on their family? I mean, Josh, he was only 6 months old. We just had Josh. You know, you've got your beautiful car. I just got done building you. You know, I took time away from building my car to finish your car up for you. You know, we bought a house. You know, I put in a garage. What more does a woman want than a man that's willing to work for his family and you know, set you up with what you need to get ahead and you know, stay there and be with the kids. My kids were never with, I've never had a babysitter in my life with my kids. Never. They were always with me. So, or Tracy, you know, when I went to work and stuff like that, they stayed with Tracy. But, you know, for her to walk away from that killed me. But I'm glad I did stick with her and teach her right from wrong and do all that. And now she's just like the best. You know, I love her to death. Do I think she'd ever do that to me again? Absolutely not. She was so mortified, and, you know, all she wanted was to be remarried. And, you know, she saw that, you know, everybody else, you know, the grass is greener elsewhere, and everybody else is going to promise you the world, you know, to get their dick wet, basically. And, you know, she had to learn it the hard way, and it hurt me in the process. But she never made that mistake again, and she hated men after that, you know. She curbed men left and right. It was funny. It was funny. Anybody that was just being sort of nice to her, she's, yeah, you know, she'd move on. It was funny. I mean, I just fell in love with her all over again. Okay, because Blake, let me put it this way. Let's say you've always stood up and been there. You know, you see a woman getting, you know, mistreated, you stand up, you go against the guy, and you keep the girl safe. You don't even know her. This and that. And then one day, you come home from a wedding reception and you wake up in jail, and you're like, what happened? And then you find out your wife's leaving you because you slapped her. You don't remember it. You know, it could have been an argument, this and that, and you could have thought in your mind you were fighting some dude. I don't know, but accidents do happen. I don't want to say, you know, you're not a woman beater at that point, but I've never wanted to be labeled as a woman beater. You know, I've always stuck up for women and done all that and this and that. But, you know, have I grabbed a girl, you know, by her shoulders or even her hands? Because this one girl I was with, Robin, she was swinging on me. And I grabbed her by her wrist. I'm like, calm down. I'm not cheating on you. And she's like, you're a fucking liar. Blah, blah, blah. My girlfriend told me. I'm like, your girlfriend's wrong. You know, and you know, I had to argue my way out of that because I did not cheat on her. And, you know, she was adamant that I did. And she was like swinging on me. So does that make me a woman beater because I stopped her from hitting me? I don't think so. You know, it just shit happens. And if you get drunk, a blackout drunk, and, you know, are you held accountable? Yes. But really, you know, in your mind, you could be fighting a dragon for all I know, you know, and you don't remember any of it. And next thing you know, you lost your family, your kids, your house and home and everything, you know. I think things should be worked out past that. Maybe you shouldn't drink no more. And if you show her that you won't drink and that never happens again, in time she can forgive you. You know, it's just, I don't know. Look at me. I'm out here just spreading my morals and ethics and what I think to everybody. That's horrible. I'm not that kind of guy. I guess I am, though. Oh, look at this. Floofy Farrell says, just moved and have a 3/4 acre pond that is the water source with bass and amurs. Any recommendation for first time pond owner? Yes. Do not put goldfish or koi in there. Please. If you've got a 3/4 acre pond, it's got to be fed from somewhere. It's getting fresh water if there's life in there. And then overflows to go somewhere else.
She says right there it's a water source. So I'd say best advice would be to leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Now, you can stock it with native animals. Whatever's native, like if you want paddlefish, I don't know where you're at, but up here in northern Ohio, northern states, paddlefish is native. So we never see them. They're kind of exotic, but in these bigger ponds, they thrive and they have little baby paddlefish every year, you know, and you can sell them off as a means of money every summer. You know, you do a netting and you get a bunch of babies and you sell them for, you know, $200 a piece or whatever. You know, I would say, yes, definitely do paddlefish. Get some, any kind of smaller sturgeon that are native, put in there, because the problem is if you get something that's invasive or non-native and you start filling it up with, like, let's say pacu and oscars and, you know, arapaima and red-tailed cats and clown knives, they're eventually going to have babies and they're going to go through the overflow and get out and get into the ecosystem. And you can be arrested for that.
Yeah, she doesn't say where she is.
Right. That's why I'm saying I don't know where it's at, but, you know, only use native fish. You can look on the internet what's native to my state, and then you can stock your pond with any of them native fish, you know. But other than that, leave it alone. It's a natural thing. It's growing on its own. It's doing good. Just go and fish and enjoy it, you know. Jenny is housebound on board, says, thank you for being pretty much the only guy on YouTube letting us get to know monster fish. Charlie wasn't technically a monster fish, but he had my heart. So did Brutus. Thank you for sharing your fish with us. Oh, thank you. Now, see, Charlie was a local celebrity at the Dort Mall. He was there, I think, over 20 years. And everybody kept coming up to me as I was rescuing him. Man, I used to come see this when I was 5, 6 years old. And, you know, he's grown so much. And, you know, he's still here. You know, we love Charlie. And he was a local celebrity at the Dort Mall in Michigan. So when I brought him here, you know, he grew. And I had him here, 3, 4 years, something like that. And he was in with other pacus in a 3,000-gallon tank. He came out of a 500-gallon tank. So when I got the opportunity to let him go back to Michigan in somebody that I trusted with a 9,000-gallon tank, that's what we stand for, giving fish a bigger home. we can take Charlie and put him back to Michigan where people will want to come and visit him again. You know, remember Charlie Dormo? Yeah, he's now at the Legacy. And, you know, so he was a local celebrity, basically. And we highlighted him here, and then we took him back to Michigan. I'm sorry things didn't work out. You know, fish get sick, things happen. I wished it would have worked out because that would have been great. You know, it's a great, you know, puff piece. It's a great humanity story. You know, Charlie gets rescued by the Ohio Fish Rescue and then brings back to Michigan, and now we can all see him again. You know, he was, but you know, he was pretty old too. So I don't know. No one knows what happened. All we know is obviously he's not here no more. Harley Jem says the Trailer Park Boys have put out a new series on YouTube. Really? They're going to be right here in New York, 2 hours away from me, in a couple of weekends. I wanted to go so bad to see them, because you know, me and Julian, we kind of like two peas in a pod. You never see me without my cup. You know what I'm saying?
That's the beauty. Where's that?
Oh, that's real close to us.
Goofy referrals.
Okay, Floofy Barrel says, I'm in Ashtabula, Ohio, which is close to us. I'll look into the paddlefish. Do they need to be fed daily, or do they fit into the ecosystem? Here's the thing. They live off the microbes in the water. They're like a whale shark. You ever seen them? They swim through the ocean, and their big mouth opens up, and they got like, 10 gills, and they just swim, and their gills bring in all the little krill and microorganisms, and that's what they eat. Huge shark, like 20, 25 foot long.
Filter feeders.
Filter feeders. That's what the paddlefish are. So when I feed the koi, the paddlefish come over and they flip upside down and they take a few pellets and they go on about their way. But if I didn't feed them, they would be constantly flowing through the water with their mouth open, just micro filtering the water of any kind of life forms. Like if there was brine shrimp in there floating around, they'd eat them all up,
Well, that's why they work so good with koi, because koi are dirty eaters.
Yeah, they take the pellets in and they expel dust out their gills, and that's what the paddlefish love to eat.
The koi go down and muck the bottom, but the paddlefish don't muck the bottom.
Right. Also that too. So if I had an outdoor pond, well, I do, and I got paddlefish.
We got 3.
I would have bass, bluegill, crappie. I don't like the whole idea of snapping turtles in my lake, because I want to walk through there and maybe you step on one's front paw and they bite you. I don't really want that, but you can't really keep them out if it's a natural pond. So I wouldn't suggest that. You're going to get them this way or that, whatever. But bass, bluegill, crappie. Bowfin. They look like snakeheads, and they are native to Ohio. So if you go out, go bowfin fishing and keep a couple and bring them home and put them in your pond. And they'll have babies. They look like snakeheads. They're great. They're awesome fish.
Yeah, but they're also determined predators.
They are.
They'll control your population, and they're good.
Well, if you have a pond with bass, bluegill, the bluegill feed all the bass, right?
Yeah.
And then the bowfin will eat off the bluegill too. So then,
hopefully they'll take some of the bass.
Well, the baby bass they will,
baby
of course.
Bass,
yeah. So they'll keep a definite
it's
a ratio in there.
Yeah, a 3/4 pond
That's like the whole the whole land on the other side of the river.
Yeah.
That's about 3/4 pond.
Yeah.
If that whole green grass area was a big pond.
The last pond before here was 2.5 acres that I worked on. And we had to roll out and check the machinery on it.
Come on, it jumped there. Here we go. Jenny, Housebound and Board says, you honored Charlie in every way you could. We appreciate you telling his story. If it wasn't for you, Rich, he'd just be another fish. We will remember Charlie because of you. Oh, thank you. Raheem says, hey, Big Rich, how big do paddlefish grow? Get up to like 5 foot, but they're long and thin,
You have to have They get 5 foot in the wild, but you have to imagine they're native to the Missouri River system. So that's an awful lot of water.
Also, their paddle takes up over half of their body.
Yeah.
So their body will only be like 3 foot while their paddle is like 2 foot, sticking out. And they use that to scan for, fish and all that kind of stuff.
It's a rostrum. It's a
Rostrum,
sensing
right?
organ.
Yeah, sensing organ. That's what I said. In other words. Okay, Rid Armand said, did anyone at OFR get in touch with I Show Speed team? Never heard of him. He's born and raised in Ohio and will be doing a USA tour soon. Will be a good exposure for OFR to get into mainstream and younger viewers.
Ah.
I have never heard of them. This is the first I've heard of them. I Show
We usually
Speed.
wait for fishy people to contact us.
Yeah, like I just got contacted by, who was that? The Parma. Ah, jeez.
Animal control.
Not animal
Not
control.
Animal control. Something
Oh,
like
here it
that.
is. With the Parma Animal Shelter,
Animal
we have a
control,
hoarder
that's
case
it.
of 70 animals, and I was wondering if you could be able to take about 24 catfish. I told her we'd take them all. We never say no to any fish. So now we're working with the Parma Animal Shelters. People get a hold of us. Remember this. I Show Speed. Actually, let me look it up real quick, and I can save it on here. Oh, Skylar messaged me.
When they say hey, he's, that's an individual or is it a team? First he calls them a team and then he calls them as he's.
Show
Speaks on him singular.
Speed. It doesn't matter. You look up their name and their YouTube channel will come up. I Show Speed. 43 million subscribers? Are you serious?
What is he, one of those gag guys?
I don't know. He's way bigger than us.
Wow, yeah. We're kind of a niche market. I mean,
All right, I've got it saved in my phone. I'll send him a message. That's it. Chris Junkin's got the right thing. Phytoplankton. They
Yeah.
love to eat it. See, now all winter long, I don't feed the pond at all. And the paddlefish still maintain. They go into a lower thing, but they still feed all winter long. So there is spawnophora in the pond, and it's still growing, and they're still able to eat.
there's still algae growth on
That's what I'm saying.
Like, yeah.
What does fauna and flora mean to you?
What?
It's algae.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plankton, algae, it's all
Yeah.
microfauna.
Tyler, me and you are going to fight now. I'm take these glasses off. I don't look nothing like Bubbles. I don't remind you of Bubbles. Screw that. That's Julian, the only one.
Julian reminds you of Bubbles. Doesn't
No.
say you do.
Rich says he's like Julian, but he reminds me of Bubbles too. Rich reminds me of Bubbles is what he's saying. When he uses his phone and look at the computer.
Oh, I see.
I see, but
Another misunderstanding bites at us.
by text, right? We do not have 184 million subs. Let me go to my page. Oh, is this the look you're talking about right now? I pull the glasses down and I look.
184 million, we wish.
We got 184,000. Not million.
They'd be paying the bills.
Hell, if I got 184 million subs and I'm only making $2,000 a month, I'd be pissed.
You'd have every right to be pissed. That's what I was just thinking. They'd be paying the bills.
James McNally says, how long do Pacu live? Well, it's different in every situation, depending on how they were raised and all that. We have a iridescent shark named Schwarzenegger that is supposed to have an 18 to 20 year life, and he's already like 27. you know, 26, 27, somewhere's in there. As close as we can guess. And he's still doing good. So, I mean, things live longer if they're taken care of right. How long do pacu live? Usually around, 25 years.
It may sound awful cold, but most fish live until something kills them.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. That's my sidekick, everybody. Captain Obvious.
It's right. I mean,
Batman and Captain Obvious.
if that fish dies while it's in my care, 99% of the times it's something I did or didn't do.
Right.
In the wild, they live until something kills them.
Chris Junkin
They
says.
don't have a natural lifespan.
Right. Chris Junkin says, Tyler, if they had that many followers, Rich would have at least 3 jets. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have any jets, but I would have people that worked for me that I could pay and take care of things. And I'd have a staff out there, and I'd just walk in and make sure everyone's doing their job. That's all.
Pay people to do that?
I would. If I was making 180 million followers,
Yeah.
we're talking, probably $200,000 a month.
That's a good question from me. The freshwater sawfish. It's actually brackish, isn't it?
It's brackish, yeah. Freshwater sawfish, has anyone in private aquarium besides public aquarium? I've never seen them, but they're not a freshwater. They are a brackish fish, which isn't that hard, but I don't want to turn my whole system into brackish to have a sawfish. Toomby says, it's the same with lobsters. They live until something happens. Isn't that the same with every living creature? How long does humans live? 80, 90 years? No, this guy died at 34. Something happened. This guy died at 50. Something happened, but the life expectancy is 70 to 80 years. Oh, yeah. Shauna come up with it. Big Betty was bought right after 9/11 happened. I remember that in the story. So whatever date 9/11 happened, that's exactly how old Betty is now.
They haven't done 9/11.
Of what year? September of 2011, I guess. So 2021 would be 20. So she's 24 years old. Yeah. Tyler says, Rich already has everything he wants. He has my dream house, except for Tracy awake. If I had Tracy awake, I'm a rich man. I have everything I want, and I can live out my life being happy, But now I'm trying to take care of her and bring her back because she is a fighter. She fought me. I did not want a relationship with her again. She fought me nonstop. All she wanted was to be remarried to me. And now she's won. She's going to get that. But you know what? It's not that she's won. I will win because she became such a good person after that. I mean, everybody that came here just loves her to death. And, I had to let go of old feelings. I never thought I'd be the type that could be cheated on and I'd stay with a woman, which I didn't do technically. I did divorce her. But to take that woman back, I never thought I'd be that kind of person. I'm thinking a simp, a wussy, No, I'm a man's man. There ain't nobody that I wouldn't take on to protect my family, So I'm not a wuss I'm not a simp at all, She earned her right to come back. That's how I look at it. Deb Charge says, Tyler, I never want to leave when we visit. Well, Deb Charge, as long as you bring your cook with you, you're always welcome. I'm kidding. You're always welcome here, brother, with or without the cook. But, I don't want to say that either because Sue Ann would be like, what do you mean with or without me? Love you guys. You're always welcome here. That's all I'm going to say.
That's nice when a couple gets hard to separate. Can't talk to one without the other.
Well, no, me and Deb Charge worked outside. Sue Ann sat in there. She come in, did dishes,
That's not what I'm
stuff like
talking
that.
about. I'm talking about them being an honest couple.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah, there's no, you can't deal with one without the other.
Deb Charge. He's so funny. He goes, it's awesome there, Tyler. You'll love Rich's big deck. We had this whole videos one time. Everyone's talking about big deck, and Rich has got the biggest deck and all this stuff. It was hilarious. I mean, the innuendos were going on left and right at that time. It was hilarious. Still ain't forgot about it. Eric says I could have him right now with the Camaro in the swimming pool and win him over. Tyler, here's the problem. He says, I can't wait. I just sit and drink and listen to the stories and see the fish. Here's the problem. I know so many people, and so many people come by here. I don't know who I've told what story to. So you end up hearing stories again and again, So then I told my kids, just if you hear it and you already know the story, just jump ahead of me. And I'd be like, hey, this one time I went to the bank. Oh yeah, that's where you got, this and that. Oh, you already know that. And then I'll quit,
It doesn't work either.
It does.
Only if you're paying attention.
Are you saying I never pay attention? You're supposed to be my sidekick and
Your
talk me up.
Your attention is kind of selective sometimes.
Well, I will agree there. Money for boobs. But were you talking to me, Jerry? I'm sorry, there was money involved. James McNally says, how are the macaws coming along? I haven't found one yet to buy. I do want one. I don't have the spare money. I bought that.
In that respect, they're coming along just fine.
I don't have the spare money now to buy a macaw. I had spare money, but I spent it on that dune buggy, which was another thing on my list to do, to buy and replace what I sold to, move in here. You know what's great? Tyler says, that's okay, Rich. I love to listen to you and Jerry's stories. But here's the great thing. If you listen to Jerry's stories, every time he tells it, it gets more elaborate.
What are you doing? What doesn't?
It doesn't? I met the guy and he's like, yeah, I was a roadie for Heart. And then,
No, I wasn't a roadie for Heart. I never said
that's what you said. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, I said we had the same business manager as a band I was working for.
I don't know. You told me you helped set up for Heart.
No, I didn't. I was setting sound for Straight Arrow Blues Band, and we had the same business manager as Heart on the West Coast circuit. All that means really is that the rental equipment stayed in place and we moved our personal equipment.
Tell the stories you told me about Heart.
No.
Okay then.
Well, yeah.
They got bigger on down the road.
I know. I let you in on more of them.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah.
Ross Dingle says Big Rich had some great stories.
I have some
I've
stories
been through a
about
lot.
Heart, but I never worked with Heart. I never was.
Raheem says, Rich, your wish will come true. My prayers are with you and Tracy. Oh, thank you, Raheem. He says, GoFundMe for Macaw. I would never ask you guys for GoFundMe. As a matter of fact, I put out a GoFundMe to benefit Ohio Fish Rescue, not even on my own. And I put a $300 limit. It's been up for a week and a half. I got $13. So I don't keep posting it. I don't keep trying. It is what it is. Tyler says something. I think he's talking about you, Jerry. He says, I would love it if you can. Oh, he's talking to somebody else. Maybe you can meet us there and we can smoke it up. It would be nice to have someone that can keep up.
It must be talking to somebody else.
I think depth charge.
I don't try to keep up anymore.
Sarah Ring says, coming to Ohio next year from England? Really? First, second, third stop is the rescue. Well, let me know ahead of time that you're coming, and I'll try and make it the best that we can make it for you.
Yeah, please let us know ahead of time. Who's that guy that showed up at the door that one time?
I don't know.
He was here, flew in from London, came to the door, we were on, and he left.
I remember something like that.
Yeah, he
Something about a pizza. He brought a pizza to the door or something like that.
No, he came to visit OFR to visit
Right.
with us. We were on live stream. He didn't let us know he was coming,
Right.
but he had to fly out back to England.
I didn't get to see us.
Yeah, and didn't get to see us, but he came to the door and knocked and everything, and we're busy in here.
Oh yeah. Harley said she tried to donate, but it wouldn't go through. Let me see if I can find it. Fish rescue.
I can always do it on a chat. I mean, on a super chat too.
This one, Ohio Fish Rescue. Here we go. Where is the? Well, you know what? It's
Honestly,
on my.
I don't know when to. I don't know how to tell people when they want to know how do I make donations online. I tell them, man, go to the site. It'll lead you there. Because I don't know. I
want to be gallery. I want to create.
I
a
can't
story.
even video see
wanna see
decently
my
with my phone.
There we go. Okay, here it is. Support. Happy birthday. Let me go to the GoFundMe. It's there. $13 raise. I go okay. Now let me donate now. $10. Oh, not 1,000. 10. Okay. Next.
My birthday is in December, thank you for asking. Early December.
Oh, because I'm donating $10. GoFundMe is putting in a $1.75, and oh no, they're charging me $1.75. So total due today is $11.75.
No.
Oh, it's that GoFundMe tip. I thought they were adding money because it was a
It's one of the reasons I don't donate. I will donate my time and I will hand you cash, but I'm not paying somebody else.
Okay, pay.
I ain't playing with them middleman.
Your donation. Thank you for being an early supporter. You donated $10. Reach more donors by sharing. $23 raised. So, Harley, that might be on your end, like your debit card or something or whatever ain't linked to whatever or something, you know, something simple like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Nate Gilly says it's like watching grumpy old men.
Yeah.
I'm the happy one. He's the grumpy one. You the grumpy one. That's why I call you cantankerous. Jenny Housebound Board says I can't imagine seeing them in person. Maybe start selling tour dates. $30 per person per visit. Help pay for the fish. Well, you know what? Josh does that, but he goes, it's $100. You know, suggested donation for 4 people. So that's $25 a piece. We should just list it $25 a piece. Kids free. You know.
But then again, it's a suggested donation. We can't charge for tours.
No.
We can't sell fish.
Well, we can't have a business and make profit.
No, no profit.
We're not. We're zoned commercial, not residential. I mean, we're residential, not commercial.
There's definitely no profit here, but no profit is allowed.
Vasquez family says, "Oh, donate to the big deck." Manny Davis says, "Rich, Josh did a great job on painting those fish tanks. It looks awesome." Yeah, the whole time that I was out there working on the dog bone and cutting the plastic for the bottom, I get done and I go, "All right, Josh, what'd you do? Just feed the fish?" He goes, "No, I repainted the whole 2,500 gallon, the second coat." I'm like, "Are you serious? I didn't even know it."
I was watching him a little bit. He's good with that brush.
Vasquez family says that cylinder I told you about is 2 foot and one is 1 foot. You want both, Rich? If you can spare both, that would be great because the water's 4 foot deep. So a 3 foot tube would be great.
Yeah.
You know,
to be able to see what
the dirt and all that. Yeah. If you can't, I'd be happy with one just to be able to see the clear water going through, and I can move to the next section. You know, so whatever you can spare, it's okay. Thank you.
Throw out big words.
Tyler, you can't throw out too many big words like that. Some of us are a little buzzed. Not buzzed enough. You're not drinking what I'm drinking. Look, I'm through 1 7/8 cups. And these are 20-ounce cups, big cups. See? 2 hands, and then the tip's still showing.
I quit trying to keep up a long time ago. It takes all the fun out of it. No, not all, but some. Pass.
Oh, Sean put up a link to the OFR GoFundMe. Thank you.
Oh. Somebody's using their wrench out there. Sorry, mods. I should say sorry, fellow mods.
Aw, Vasquez family says, I got you. They're throwing them away, so you got it. I got both of them tubes coming now. Thank you, Vasquez family. You guys are awesome. Tyler says, Josh is an awesome guy, too. You did amazing with them, Rich. I'm inspired by you to have my kids be like yours someday. They are 6, 7, and 14, so thank you for what you do. You know what? Spend your time with them. You know, you can go out partying and hang out with your buddies, but they're not going to be there for you. Your family's always going to be there for you. Your kids will always be there. If you're there for them, they will always be there for you. I don't care if me and one of my kids are arguing. We don't talk to each other for 2 weeks. Something happens, they're right here defending me. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just spend all your time with them. And you know why? They grow so quickly. You're going to miss every bit of time you don't spend with them. They're going to be grown and not want to be with you, and, you know, and they're going to move on. And you're going to be like, I loved when you used to hang on my leg and, you know, I was Superman to you and blah, blah, blah. I miss those days. You're not getting them back. You're not going to get them back. I loved when Josh and Richie were young. They were 5 years apart, but I had Richie on one knee and Josh on the other knee, and I'm walking like, you know, and they're just, I'm moving them with my legs because they were hanging on my legs. That's one of my most favorite memories of when they were young. And then to come in and see that they're okay and they're sleeping. Because little Joshy, he had this thing, and he's going to get mad at me for saying this.
Oh, don't say it then.
Yeah, I got to say it.
No, you don't.
Little Joshy was so cute, you know. Richie, he just sleep. He was a belly sleeper, back sleeper. It didn't matter. He slept. But Joshy, he would hug the pillow, and he'd have his knees up to his chest, and he'd be laying down like that with his butt up in the air and just sleeping like that. I'm like, why do you sleep like that, Joshy? It's so cute. And it's, I don't know. I miss some days.
The most important thing, I think, with my kids was to teach them how to learn.
See, Harley, she done the same way. I'm both my kids' mom, dad, and best friend. See, my kids got me Mom's Day cards all the time, you know, until Tracy actually took over and was being a good mother again, you know. So there was many years where I got Mother's Day cards. I was there. They were my best friends, you know. Nate says, my brother slept like that as a young kid and a baby. I don't understand it. Just like a baby does it, you know. Josh did it till he was like probably 8 or 9. Him and his little tighty whities, and he's all curled up, his knees up there. That's so cute.
I gotta excuse myself. Hey, it's after 8 o'clock. I didn't
Oh,
realize
yeah.
for this
Quarter
now.
after. It's time for your bed, man, old man.
No.
It's past 8 o'clock. That's why you leave the live stream every week.
Anybody out there who's had bladder cancer can
Oh,
relate.
the way to bring the crowd down, Jerry. We're having fun here.
Hey, you don't argue with that person.
Tyler says, well, you did amazing, Rich. Just remember that. All right. So I'm on my last cup now. Get some questions in there. What do you guys want to talk about? I'm here for you. Aw, Jerry the party pooper. Yeah. Let me see what he's got here to say. Oh, she's just talking about working. See, we're still friends. We're good friends. She tells me about her work. She uses me to vent. Everybody said bye, Jerry. Doopy says that's not a cup. That is a cup. 2 hands and still more at the tip. That's more than a cup. Tin Cans Zero says, what has been your best financial investment so far? I wish I could say Bitcoin. I had my buddy came over and he's like, dude, you got to get in on this thing. It's called Bitcoin. It's an imaginary money on the internet. It's going to be huge. And it was like, I don't know, 30 cents for a Bitcoin. And he goes, just buy $100 worth. And I'm like, yeah, screw that. I ain't buying $100 worth of imaginary money. Screw that. I passed on that. And right now I'd be a millionaire because Bitcoin is $115,000 each. And at $100 at 30 cents a piece, oh my God, I'd have had 3,000 Bitcoin. 3,000 times 100,000, I'd had $3.some million. Oh my God. I lost out on that one. That would have been my best, you know. But my financial investment was buying the house next door that was getting to be torn down for 20 grand. Me and the kids go in there and rebuild everything, get the house up. You know, we put new roof on it. We vinyl sided it. We got the inside good, and we started renting it out. And now the house is $150,000. And, you know, I bought 7 or 8 more like that. I got 9 properties now. I bought everything in so disarray, and me and the kids went in and just fixed everything. Built it ourselves. Didn't pay nobody for nothing. And, well, there was this one thing that we had to do. The line from the house to the road, we had to pay a company to come do that. That was like $3,000. So, but 99% of the stuff we did ourselves. Tyler says, Rich, you need a chalice or a pimp cup? I actually have one. Tracy got me one. It's this chalice, and it goes up with this little thin rod, right? And then it comes up to this big cup, and it says pimp across it. Tracy bought it for me. I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. I used that pimp cup forever, but then the novelty wore off. And, you know. James McNally says, is there dangerous wild animals in Ohio that could tear a human limb from limb? I'm asking because although I'm scared of heights, I will happily jump out of a plane to raise money for you. You know, there are bears here. There are mountain lions. Anything else you can think of? Oh, you're not from Ohio.
I don't think.
I think that's about it. Just those 2. And Bigfoot, of course. You know.
How many of those ones that guy let loose from his zoo?
There was like 50 tigers and bears and lions.
How many of them were actually rounded up?
38 that that's the last I followed. They caught 38 and euthanized them. And then he killed himself after that.
Yeah.
And then they changed the laws where we can no longer have exotic animals here in Ohio.
I know. That was sad for one person. Got spoiled for everybody.
So you've got bears are native, not as much as they are in Canada, but there are bears here. And then mountain lions. And then you have, Bigfoot, according to Willstar. And then you have every once in a while, a very rare. You might see a lion because somebody bought a lion cub at Mount Hope Exotic Animal and it got loose or something like that, you know. You want to talk to them for a second?
Oh, I'm sure I can do that.
See, he's not the party pooper. He came back. Oh, my hips. Oh. I've been sitting for 2 hours.
Yeah, well, that was my problem a minute ago.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah, I'm back. I had to deal with having bladder cancer and going through pretty much wiped me out. Took me a year and a half to learn how to use my system again. Then I ended up here. I don't know, man. I don't know what are we in here. Deb Charge, hey Jerry, Deb's up there. Everybody's saying hi. Hello, everybody. Yeah, Rich's got to go check on Tracy. Oh, he had to go get his pimp cup.
Oh man, what way to go! One thing you'll learn about me is I never lie. There's my pimp cup.
I didn't spoil it by much.
By much, you told him what I was hiding behind my back.
You weren't hiding it well.
It was behind my back.
It was in your hand.
Behind my back, I was going to
The
drop.
blind man says I'm sneaking through his refrigerator because he sets a package of hamburgers right on the shelf, and I'm not supposed to see them.
It was under a shelf.
He's blind.
He comes out and he goes, "Are you gonna cook them hamburgers up for dinner?" I'm like, "What are you doing going through my shit?" Pimp cup. Yes. Thank you, Tyler.
Did I have to leave that out of here? All right.
Well, Tyler says, "Rich, you need a chalice or a pimp cup." I have one. Had to say it.
I carved one of those out of teak wood one time. On a lathe. I didn't hand carve.
Raheem says, "Bitcoin is a bit risky." I tell you what, Raheem, if I put $100 in then, I'd be having the best backgrounds, the biggest, baddest fish tanks around, the biggest additions onto this house. I'd already opened up my own business and had a big, huge warehouse for the rescue in the
Big
back.
Shaquille O'Neal's neighbor.
Right. Sue Ann says, "Rich has to go see a man about a horse."
Yeah, I caught that one. That's what I said. No, he's got to go see Tracy. And then you walked in with the chalice.
Gotcha. Jenny's housebound. His hips, his back. Jerry had a bladder attack. We're all getting old. I get it.
What?
My back always hurts, and I deal with that. But my hips, that's a new thing. For any time I sit for any length of time and I go to start moving, it's really frail feeling at first. Like, oh, I'm frozen. And it hurts to start moving. And once I start moving, I'm good. Now I'm good. My hips don't hurt at all. But yeah, we are getting old.
I ain't the age to get you. It's the mileage.
Jenny says, housebound. Jenny is housebound on board, says, "Oh my God, that cup. Tracy bought this for me. It's a beautiful cup. Just, I feel like I need to be wearing a big clock or something,
Get yourself one of those tuxedo T-shirts.
I need one of those. Tuxedo t-shirts, yes. Raheem says, "Rich, any plans for the Dwight Howard tank?" Hell yeah, we got plans for the Dwight Howard tank. Josh already spilled the beans, so I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
I tried making it a surprise for you guys, but remember we got in that big, huge 4-foot caiman? We traded him and one of our snakes that we had for a emerald tree boa. So now we're going to...
Didn't it?
Huh?
A pair of them, isn't it?
I don't know if we got
We
a pair or we were talking about a pair. I don't remember. Josh did the deal. So I know that we want a pair and then, have babies and stuff like that. But they will stay up in the branches constantly, where boas will stay at the bottom. And maybe every once in a while climb the tree, But now we're going to turn that into an exceptional emerald tree boa. And them snakes are beautiful. They're great. Look them up online. Emerald tree boa. They're beautiful. So that's going to be a really neat, special thing here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get the fish tank up and running and put our archer fish in there. And then if you go up to the pet store, you can get these fake vines that are bendable. We're going to put that across the top of that fish tank, about 2 foot up. And we're going to feed the archer fish by putting crickets on that vine. And they're going to spit water up, knock the cricket off, and then eat the crickets. It's a 2-in-1 multi-design. We're going to put the astroturf back in there and set everything back up and make it look beautiful again.
We should put the archer fish in a touch tank.
Stop it.
I know Hoover would eat them.
Hubert would eat them.
That's what I said, Hubert.
Oh, I thought you said Hoover.
No, sounds the same. So
it makes sense because he'd eat anything.
in my mouth, yeah. Okay, there we go. But no, I'd like to have them down where they can squirt people.
James McNally says, "I was wondering why one of your sons is called Richie and the other one is called Richard." Okay, my firstborn son was Supposed to be a junior. I got with the hottest woman I've ever been with. I walked into this strip club and I'm like, ooh, that one, I'm taking her home. And I actually did. I ended up marrying her and trying to turn her into a housewife. It worked until the kid was...
Always taking in wild animals and trying to train them.
It worked until my firstborn son was a year old. On his first birthday is when she left. Because 2 days before that, I was home and I'm watching, my son. She's supposed to be at her girlfriend's house next door. So she's hanging out with her girlfriend. I'll watch the kid. I was all into being a father. I got all the things. I got his little bassinet. I got his little carrying thing. I got the Johnny jumper. I got everything I need for my son, And I was proud. I used to show off my kid. This is my son, Richie. But in the hospital, I guess the nurses came to have her sign some papers when I wasn't there. I was out getting drinks or something. And she signed it Richard Allen Iman instead of Richard Allen Price. So it came 6 months later. His birth certificate came back and it wasn't in my name. I'm like, what the hell? You told me, it's going to be Richard Allen Price Jr. You're going to give me my junior. And we argued about this and that. And next thing you know, she left and took the kid with her. So I was devastated, and Tracy was there and she was, hugging me and holding me and telling me it'll be okay and blah, blah. And she can't believe this girl would do this to me. And if I, let's pretend I'm Tracy. If I was your girl, I would never do that to you. I'd give you, your junior like you wanted and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? So I ended up getting with Tracy. So when Tracy got pregnant, our firstborn she gave me my junior, Richard Allen Price Jr. So now I got two boys named Richard. So, and then me, I'm the third. So now when Richard would come over, we used to call Richie. So it turned into Richard, my oldest, and then Little Rich and Big Rich. I didn't get my name Big Rich because I'm huge. I'm only 6'1". Look at the picture of me next to Shaq and I'm up to his armpit. You know what I'm saying? So I got, because, if I called Rich, there'd be, all these people answering something, So now it comes to, Tracy would yell, Rich, both boys and me would come, run. It worked out better. Richard, Little Rich, Big Rich. Well, Little Rich didn't like Little Rich. Now he's Richie. That's it. You can't call him Little Rich. Don't like it. He's not Little Rich.
Can't blame him there.
So
that happens in a lot of families.
When Josh was born, I'm like, yes, because we didn't know what it was. Another boy, And she stood up in her stirrups and she's like, no. So we got Joshua Richard as my third.
So I've got two brothers named Mike. One's my brother and the other's my stepbrother. I call one Big Mike and one Little Mike. And Little Mike don't like it.
Lita RFL says, that's my family with Bob's, though.
Yeah. Bob's your uncle. We're not leaving Australia, would you? There's that New Zealand, not Australia.
That's all right, Tyler. When you come up here, and I'll let you spend the night. You got Josh's old room with his amazing $10,000 bathroom and stuff. Blah blah blah. But if you get woken up with an emerald tree boa, brother.
I think I'd rather wake up to an emerald tree boa than the damn alligator snapping turtle.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God! I remember when I donated. We had an alligator snapping turtle here, and I was going up to see Greg Woodstock in Chicago. We had him in a tub in the back of the van, and it's a 5.5 hour drive.
That Moria?
Morla.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, we're driving up to Chicago, and I'm sitting there, and I got, this bag of things I was given. Oh, Greg Woodstock left his hat, his stuff and stuff, here. So I had a bag of his clothes sitting on the console in between the two seats. Next thing you know, I feel something cold on my leg. And I look down, and it's Morla's head. He's resting on my leg. Not an alligator snapping turtle, but a snapping turtle. which are much worse.
Yeah.
Okay, the alligator snapping turtles are very calm, not the snapping
Yeah.
turtles. So I look down, I'm like, I reach over, I grab the Greg Woodstock bag, and I put it in front of his face. And he started instantly just whack, whack, whack. And he's biting, and I'm like, ooh, and I move my leg away, you know. Don't know how he got out. All I know is I'm driving down the highway, and this thing's biting this bag that I just put in front of his face. And I was like, wow, that was crazy.
I was glad I wasn't driving when Reaper and I went and rescued those ferrets. Man, if that thing would have tried to run up Reaper's pants leg, woo! It's bad enough it was mine. I'm not even driving, and I damn near caused an accident.
Tyler says, I literally cry when I hear a baby or when I see a snake. No matter the size, I had to stop going to one of my favorite pet stores because they had snakes everywhere. No, thank you.
Yeah, Tyler commented before when we had the snake on the screen, he didn't like it. I'm sorry you have that feeling, but everybody's got their little things, you know. I'm that way about cantaloupe.
Hello?
Yeah.
You cry like a baby when I bring up cantaloupe?
If I gotta smell it, I will.
Really? It smells so good.
It is the most horrible, obnoxious, gagging odor I have ever.
Are you serious? Dude,
me,
a room temperature melon. Oh, it's so juicy.
No.
So good. Succulent, I would even say.
I can handle watermelon and a couple of other melons, but basically those flowery melons, I can't get them. They're this far away, man. I start retching.
How can you be my sidekick if you don't like melons?
Melons, and then there's melon.
Oh, you like melons?
I like melons. No, everybody's got their own fork. You know?
Okay, Mike Kirkpatrick says that setup is perfect for arboreal snakes. I don't know what that is. As I said before, the ball python would not have been ideal for that setup as they're going to be ground dwelling. Yep. Tracy says, I missed my ball python. I had to move and couldn't keep her. So she was so sweet and would drink water right out of your hand.
Yeah, they would do that.
You know what? I had a 14-foot reticulated python. And it was the greatest snake ever. Everyone was so scared of it. And I'd go in and I'd pick her up, you know, like, you know, she was big. She was big around, like, you know, yay big around. And, you know, I went in there every day and I had this guy, because I can't kill animals, you know, but he would take rabbits and he had them frozen for me and he would drop them off. He worked at the Chevy plant. He would drop them off like 3 a week. And I would take the frozen rabbit, thaw it out. I would pick it up and I would go walk into its cage. It was a big door. I'd walk in and I'd throw it over there and he would just go and attack it and swallow it. And he'd be good for another week or so. And then one day, it was very hot that day. I should have known better because heat, snakes, more movement, right? It was super hot that day, and I brought in her rabbit. I opened up the door, and this snake, I swear to God, I shit you not, let me find you something. Here, it was like this. This snake, he rose up, eye level with me, and his mouth opened up like this. And he came at me with this S thing pattern right at my face. I leaned back, and I'm like, oh shit, and I hit him with the rabbit, knocked his face away, and I backed out of the door and shut it.
Take a chapter out of the Jungle Book, folks.
I'm like, oh, hell no. No. I sold that snake that day. I got a double door refrigerator for the garage, a radar detector, and $150. I didn't care. Whatever you're willing to give. I don't want this thing here no more. But before that, I swear to God, I had this snake in a wagon behind my kid's big wheel. And he was just driving her around, you know. And the snake was great for like 2 years. And then all of a sudden, that one warm day, it showed its ass. That was all it took for me. I've never had a snake since, except for these ones that just got donated and we're trying to find homes for. But I don't have to touch them, and they're only, you know, 3 and 4 foot long.
Well, I got critters I got to go take care of. Babies waiting for food and stuff.
Oh, Mike says arboreal means tree dwelling animals. Okay,
Arboreal.
so arboreal. Okay, so that means a
Tree.
emerald tree boa is an arboreal snake.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect. That's what we ended up with.
So it's the longest lizard in the world.
Tyler says snake talk. I'm out of here.
Hey, you know, I'd rather deal with any snake rather than one of those damn tree gators.
Tyler says thanks, Rich. New fear nightmare unlocked. Thank you. Not cool. I liked you. Now you're being mean. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to. I'm just, telling stories of what happened to me. That's what turned me on snakes. I don't have snakes no more. Screw that. I saw that thing come up face level with me and come at me with that S pattern. It said, before it got me, I hit it with the red. Oh my God.
And before I leave, Tyler, look up the tree crocodile.
There's a tree crocodile?
Tree crocodile, yeah, arboreal.
Yes,
It's
screw
the
that.
It's the longest lizard in the world.
There's a lizard and an alligator.
Lizard.
You said crocodile.
It's called a tree crocodile.
But it's a lizard.
Yes.
How long is it?
Longer than the Komodo dragon.
Well, they get up to 7 foot.
The Komodo dragon is heavier.
They're thick.
By a long ways, yeah. But
so they're like a green iguana, just really long.
If you want to that hunts birds, yeah.
Okay.
But Legacy Aquarium has one. I remember, in fact, the last time I talked to Brian, I was looking at a video and I'm going, I got to ask Brian if he's ever handled a tree gator.
What do you say?
And the next day he's showing a video of him playing with the tree gator.
Of course. That's Brian for you.
I mean, he's got him by the tail holding on like this, and that guy's on the linoleum, and he's just going, like the car burning out, man.
I'm sorry. Grant Manzer says Kenan has them. Look up his channel, Rich. I don't have to look up his channel. I can just go to his phone number and call him. And you go here. Then you go
I'm
to
going to
search.
go feed the babies.
All right. See you, Jerry.
Stay fishy, everybody.
Where is my... Okay. There's my phone. Okay. Then I search. Now, under search, I have... Here we go. Brian Martin, Aquarium Podcast, Preston, Cayman Scales and Tails. We got 367 Koi HQ. How do I get to my contacts? Here we go. All right. Then we go to in contacts. We have. There we go. Oh, shit. Just jumped way down on me. Let me go back up to the top. Okay, here we go. Zach Ketchumall, Tanner Server, Aquatics, Brian Barchek, Paul Caparo, Joey Slam, Steve Poland, Chris Biggs, Lucas Bratz, Rodrigo, Ed Malou, Greg Woodstock, Brett Raymer, DIY Joey, Jason Adams from Prime Time, Joe Thiessen from Joe's Shrimp Shack, Rod from Flip Aquatics, come on. Oh shit. Hang on a second. It's hot in here. See you guys. Jumped ahead on me. Raheem says ball python is 300 in India. They're only $60 here. I'll give them to you. All right, anyways, let me, oh shit, jumped here. Go back. Okay. Past these guys. These guys are nobodies that I just happen to know that are in, YouTubers. Oh, there's Camp Kenan. Aquatics. You got a bunch of them in here. But Mike Kirkpatrick says that's a croc monitor related to the Komodo, but closer to an Asian water monitor. That was what we were going to get for that tank, was an Asian water monitor in the first place. Actually, Camp Kenan, okay, I saw him up at Greg Woodstock's, and he's like, dude, I feel we should know each other, blah, 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 come up to us, you know? And we talked and had a great conversation. Then Greg Woodstock had a fly river turtle that I guess Camp Kenan gave him, and he was going to bring it here. He was coming out for the weekend, him and Ed and the fly river turtle. And Camp Kenan put up a stink that, you know, he's part of this kind of program, blah, blah, blah. You know, if you can't, you know, blah, 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 you have to give him back to me. So they had to end up giving the turtle back to Camp Kenan when I've got 6 fly river turtles here. They're not a big deal. So, you know, we've talked to Kenan about, you know, stocking his ponds with some fish and this and that. Grant Maynard says Kenan and Paul both should come for a visit together sometime. That would be great. Well, Paul Caparo just left here. He was here 4 months ago, and there's videos of it. Look up on OFR's YouTube channel, look up Paul Caparo, and you'll find all the videos we've done with him. Grant says Zach needs to get there too. We actually went to the the Monster Fish Bash in Florida, and Zach put on one of our shirts and did a promo for us. And, you know, he's a nice guy. You know, he said he was coming up. He never came up. I've gone down to Florida a couple times. I went to a few different YouTubers' houses and stuff. And, of course, we know Victor down there from, what's his name? Animal Rescue and Aquarium or something like that. Aquarium Rescue, Animal and Aquarium Rescue, something like that. Is Victor from Naples, Florida. He does a great job in rescuing things. He's a good guy. And, you know, I didn't get to Zach's house. I went to Justin's house, which is raw fishing. I went to Paul Caparo's. I was supposed to go and meet up with Monster Mike down there, but he never answered my calls. And then Zach was busy. He was out on some fishing trip. He goes, you can go with us, but we're arrow fishing for Pacu. I'm like, I can't go and condone that sort of activity. You know what I'm saying? I'm a rescue. I can't go out and kill fish and video it. So I had to pass on that. I mean, it gets his channel, you know, views or whatever. He's a fishing channel, which is a different type of people. I have a bunch of, you know, life lovers, tree huggers, you know, that type of stuff that just would be mortified if I showed, you know, me and Zach out there bow fishing for Pacu. Even though they're an invasive fish species in Florida and you're supposed to kill them, you're never supposed to let them back in the waters if you catch them, that kind of stuff. It wasn't for my channel, so I didn't do it. Mandy Davies says, how many times do all the fish get fed, Rich? Every single day. It's like the guy at the donut shop, time to make the donuts. 4:30 in the morning, he's getting up and going, and, you know, by like 8 o'clock at night, he's done, and he's going home to go to bed. And he gets back up at 4:30 in the morning, time to make the donuts. It's time to feed the fish here. Mostly the big fish get fed every other day. So we've got certain tanks that get fed this night, and then the next night, these fish, because they eat so much. You know, a 40-inch red tail will eat 5 pounds of like hot dogs and shrimp and tilapia, you know, and then he won't eat again for like 3 days. He's got to process that. So he just sits there and processes that. So we don't need to feed them every day, the bigger guys. But there are smaller guys in the tanks. So we have to feed them the shrimp every day. We feed the hot dogs as a pre-filler for all the monster fish, the big cats, because they come up and they want to eat pounds. So we'll throw the hot dogs in there at $1 a pound. They fill up on that, and then we throw in like, you know, $40 worth of shrimp, and they'll take a couple bites of that, nibble on this and that, because they're not really hungry no more. And then, you know, all the other fish can get the shrimp and the good stuff and the tilapia and stuff like that. And then the pellets we throw in also. So, you know, we have to feed, you know, certain tanks every other day, but every day tanks get fed. And like our baby stingrays that were born, they got to be fed 3 times a day, at least. So, depth charge says that. Zach's a moron. That moron makes, you know, like 80 grand a month, brother. Not much of a moron when you look at it like that, does it? He's 23 years old, 80 grand a month, buy anything he wants, buy a house, move out, do what he wants. Don't look like a moron to me. Now, his fish ethics, I don't agree with. I'm with you there. But I wish I made the money he made. You know what I could do for the fish world if I made that kind of money? You know, 80 grand a month. Every fish tank would have a beautiful, you know, what's the people that donated our tanks, our pool pond backgrounds to us? Universal Rocks. Every tank would have a Universal Rocks. You know, they donated to us. I believe in them. The backgrounds are awesome. That's what I would buy. And then I would hire people to keep this place pristine. And then tours, you'd go from one area where one guy's, that's his scheduled area. He could talk about all these fish. You'd move to the next area. This guy's standing out there. He's hired here, you know. And I mean, everybody would have a job. Everybody in this place would run so beautifully. It'd be so much better. And then, you know, I would hire people to work with me getting projects done, you know. I mean, Jesus, what we could do with 80 grand a month. It's amazing. Okay. Grant Mansard says, getting you on Swamp People would be must-see TV. You and Josh out with Zach? I would love to. Tyler says, we don't talk about... And he mentioned a name that we do not speak on our channel. That's how much of a douche. I mean, a problem. I mean, not a good guy. That guy is. Yeah. All right. Mike Apache says, croc monitors are longer and more slender, which helps them with being more arboreal, which means tree-borne. Asian waters are more heavy-bodied, hence why they spend more time on the ground and in the water like anacondas. Ah, gotcha. James says, I'm up for a challenge, and if it means jumping out of a plane, so be it. For raising money for your rescue, I'll probably do it in Scotland, and the money raised will be donated to the modern. I don't know what that means. Deb Charge says, we met Paul in New York. Great guy. Deb Charge, Paul's been here many times. I took him to his first strip club. You haven't met him here? You met him somewhere else? Really? That kid was 16 or 17 years old, and he came here and spent the weekend, and we had him take Josh's ID, and we went to the local strip clubs. He'd never been to a strip club before. And I went in there, and I told all the strippers, I'm like, this is a big YouTuber. He makes like, 50 grand a month. You girls need to, be all over him. And I look over, next thing I know, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this online. Oh, I guess I'm already too far gone. I look over, and there's like 5 women all on Paul, and they're all rubbing his hair and rubbing his chest. And he looks over at me, he's like, dude, this is the greatest night of my life. After that, he got mad at me because he found out I told them about money and this and that. I'm like, dude, that's what strippers are. They're all about the money, You had a good night. That's all that mattered, Grant Nancy, Blake. Oh yeah, Blake. I was I haven't been to his house. But you know, I see him all the time up at aquascape and things, and I'm supposed to be to his house. Me and Blake get along great. And then Tyler Nolan, no, I haven't been there. He's somebody I wanted to talk to. Monster Mike, he's a little fishing guy. He treats me with respect, and you know, every time I see him, he's like, you know, my best friend. He's a nice guy. Tyler Curtis says, I could have sworn you did one video with Jigging with Jordan. Am I wrong? I feel like I'm wrong. I don't remember that name, so I'm sorry. I don't think I did. Suan goes, Rich, are you willing to kill those fish to make money? I didn't think so. Of course, Suan, you know me better than that. There's no way. I couldn't go with him. He invited me. I just couldn't do it. Well, Zach was 23 when I was down there. I don't know. He's 28, 29 now. But you got to remember, this was back in the Monster Fish Bash. That's before Rod moved to New York. He was down in Florida. He held the Monster Fish Bash, and that was, geez, 10 years ago. So yeah, he was 23 when I met him. Tyler says, sorry, Rich. I didn't think about saying Buckhead's name. That's my fault. My fault. No problem. No problem. No problem. He just came here and showed his ass and showed what he's really about. And all those stories you see of him, you know, belittling, you know, YouTubers and kids and 15-year-olds and, you know, screaming and yelling at them. It's all true. I mean, it's what he does. He's horrible. He's a horrible person. And he's got his wife Tamara there, but while he was here, he was hitting on Skylar. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. Just, I don't want to talk about it. Rob's Aquatics does a lot with fish shipping and catching videos. He would be another cool one to see a video with y'all. My local fish happens guys coming out was my favorite to see. Okay. Raheem says Blake is donating an otter to Paul Cafaro. Yeah, we were supposed to donate a bunch of fish to Blake when he got his 6,000 gallon up and this and that, but he didn't want to pay us for gas to drive them down there. I was donating my time, but you know, things got in the way. You know, he got fish from elsewhere, so that's all good. Everything's working out good. I like Blake. He's a great guy. Brian Morrow's, are you talking about the dwarf from up north? Yes. Yes. Nova Scotia, I think it is. He did a video that portrayed us as bad, and then I put out a true video, showed everything he did and why he, you know, said he's going to make us millions and his plans and everything that he did while he was here. I put a video out of it, you know, and just put him in his place. And he called me and said, you know, hey, this is petty. Let's not do this. I'll take down my video if you take down your video. I'm like, dude, I'd have never put my video up if you wouldn't have turned on me. You know, thought we were best of friends. You treated me like shit. So, you know, I'll take it down. I won't talk about you. You won't talk about me. This is like 2 years ago. But I'm not talking about him. I'm just saying that's why we don't talk to him no more. The best, Sue Ann says, the best night of my life was watching the Queen get his ass whipped by Lucas. He may have gotten the belt, but he got his ass beat. Lucas won? Really? That little wimp? I don't know if you guys know the story, but I knocked that sumbitch down here. He accused me of grabbing his girl when he said he was bringing over his ex-wife and his kid, and all I was doing was being nice to her. And he got all, he don't drink, okay? And he was drinking that night. He got all in my face, you know, blah, blah, blah. I see you hitting on her. I'm like, dude, I'm not hitting on your woman. I'm being nice. Like, we were in the bonfire in the backyard. And coming across, it had rained earlier, so it's all muddy, the whole backyard, and the river's kind of full. I had her sit on the front of my four-wheeler and her son sit on the seat with me, and we went across through the river ever so slowly. I brought her up. I made sure she wasn't scared, and I brought her up to the house that way. Well, I was in the house, and I was standing against the counter. She went behind me and tickled me, like goosed me. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So as she walked by, I went back and I goosed her back on her side. Lucas lost his fucking mind, started saying that I was trying to grab her boob. And, you know, I'm like, dude, I wouldn't do that, bro. You're my buddy. I would never do that to you. You know, she got me. I was getting her back. That's all. There's no big deal. I'm sorry, you know, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm sorry, probably 30, 40 times. And he kept jumping in my face, getting in my face, you know. I'm 340 pounds. He's maybe $150, you know, little dude. And he's pissing me off. And I stopped, you know, asking for his forgiveness and telling him I'm sorry. And I would never do that to you. I love you like a brother. And I'm like, look, dude, spit on me one more fucking time and I'm going to knock you the fuck out. And I pushed him back. And he jumped back in my face. And now his forehead's touching my forehead and he's yelling. So I pushed him back a second time. And he went to come back. So I just, what? Jacked his jaw a little bit. His mouth was all bloody. You know, he falls back against the wall, comes back up, you know, blah, 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 this and that, you know. I'm like, fuck you, dude. I tried apologizing to you. You're being an asshole. Just go home. You know, he can save this by going home. Just leave. Wake up in the morning and say, I was drunk. I'm sorry. That's all it needs. He can save this. No, he wanted to get outside. He wanted to fight more. I'm like, yeah, you're out of the door. I shut the door. You know, and he's, you know, then like I give him a call, like, I don't know, a week later, and he's like, you know, I was on Golden Gloves in the Marines and blah, blah, blah. And if I want to, I'd have fucked you up. I'm like, look, little man, I've been fighting all my fucking life. I don't want to hear your shit. Okay? Just stop. Just stop right now. I'm not this hard ass that wants to fucking prove I'm better than you. I don't give a shit. Just stop. And he wouldn't stop. So I'm like, well, then fuck you, dude. And I didn't talk to him no more. Then the next Aquashella, I get calls from all these different people. Man, Lucas Fretz is here talking about how you grabbed this old lady's tit. Are you serious? Now I want to beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? I want to whoop his goddamn ass because now you're going to judge against my character. I would have never done that to a friend. I would have never done that to a girl that's here with her ex-husband. You know what I'm saying? There's still some stuff between them, whether you're married or not. I would have never. And I had Tracy. Tracy was awake and there. You know, I love Tracy. So, I mean, the whole thing got out of hand, but the fact that he now moved and he's down in Florida and he's still running his mouth about how I'm a pervert and I tried to grab his old lady's, you know, boob. I can't wait for the moment, the next time I see him, because I saw him at Aquashella and I walked up to him before I heard this stuff. I'm like, what's up, Lucas? You all right? And he goes, hey, what's up, Rich? And he didn't say nothing. I'm like, cool. And I kept on walking. Thought it was all over with, you know? And then I get all these calls from all these different YouTubers talking about Lucas saying this and Lucas saying that. Now I just want to whoop his damn ass, you know? Like Halloween. Take a flight to Florida. Show up in a gorilla outfit, a Bigfoot outfit. Knock on his door. Yank him up when he goes to the door. Beat the shit out of him and leave. I got beat up by a Bigfoot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think these things, but I'm not going to go through with it. But that's what he deserves. He's a punk-ass bitch is what he is. So, fuck Lucas. Okay, so Depth Chart says, yeah, we were there. He lost. The refs gave it to him. Does that mean Lucas lost? And then he got the win from the refs? All I know is I hit the man once. He didn't hit me back, and he just kept yelling about it. And he was just bleeding all over my kitchen. But I didn't even hit him that hard. I just cracked him across his jaw. Get out of my face. You know, it wasn't like, you know, oh my God, you're going to kill my wife. I'm going to kill you. And no, it was just back off. And he came back. I pushed him a second time. He came back. Get out of my face. You know, it's just simple like that. It's just shit opened up and blood was all over his, dripping onto his shirt and onto the ground. Oh my God. He's just a little punk. Mandy says, have you heard anything about the seagull that Reaper rescued? Yeah, he was doing good, and he's well on his way on recovery. So everybody did a good job. Everything's working out, and you know it's going to be trained for release pretty soon. No, Sue Ann, she cut off all your hair. Oh, I hate that when women do that. You know, you look more like, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to put you down, Sue Ann, at all. I love you to death. But girls with long hair look girlish. Girls with short hair look like bull dykes. And I don't like that look. I'm sorry. You're a very cute woman and you had long hair. I'm so upset you cut it off. Man. And then you know what that kills me? As age goes on, they cut it off and they're like, oh, this is nicer. This is easier. This is so much easier. And they never grow it long again. I don't know. I love you, Sue Ann, but I wish you wouldn't cut your hair off. I mean, coming from a guy that works out in 90-degree heat, cutting, you know, trees in half with a wool sweater on his back, you know, this is thick. This is heavy. This is wind blows and I don't feel it. It's, you know what I'm saying? I deal with it. So, yeah. Did you ask your husband first? Did you ask him what he thought of it? Deb Charge says he loves it. It looks great. That's what Deb Charge has to say to keep peace in the home and family. Oh my God, Sue Ann. She goes, Harley, all of the above, but never anything but a ponytail working in a dry cleaners and then choking me out at night. Sue Ann, keep your sexual situation to yourself. We don't want to know what Deb Charge does to you. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm sorry. Deb says he always liked her hair short. Well, you know what? There's guys that like huge women, you know. There's guys that like thin women. There's guys that like dark women. There's guys that like white women, or I'm sorry, not white, but light women. I mean, there's somebody out there for everybody. So, I mean, if you like it, that's great. You know, basically, if she was my woman, I'd be mad. That's all. But, you know, you two make a great couple. I love you two. Oh, yeah. Harley Jem says she pins hers to the top of her head to sleep. You know how many times I go to roll over and my hair is being pulled by myself by rolling over onto it? Oh, my God. It pisses me off. So it says, I left enough to pull. Oh, my goodness, you freak. Oh, shit. I guess that's why I love you, Sue Ann. Short or long hair, you can still cook like a some bitch. I'll tell you that. Oh, Shauna gets a thank you and I don't. Oh, Shauna's your. Oh my God, she goes, good girl, Sue Ann. What the hell's going on here? Is she your master or some shit? What the hell? See why this show ain't PG rated for children? Oh shit, it's past 9 o'clock. Damn. Long show tonight. What else you guys want to talk about? I'm here for a few more minutes. Deb Charge says, now you don't get extra long hair in the biscuits. I love it. Oh, hang on a second. Tracy's beeping. Ouch. Oh. Okay, be right back. See, that was a 2 beep. That means, nope, now it's beeping again. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm coming, honey. All right, I'm coming back. I'm here. All right. She had caught her piece off of her finger. So I put it back on. She's good. Raheem says, today's the longest live stream. Nope. I remember one time we went on for 6 hours. We got drunk as hell. Don't remember anything. I had to watch it to be like, oh, I gotta remove this live stream. Harley says, definitely after dark talking about biscuits and hair pulling. I love it. Tyler says, OFR after dark. Crystal Darnell says, my husband flipped out the last time I cut my hair and wouldn't speak to me for days. Well, okay, let me dive into that a little bit. For one, you should have talked to your husband first about it and tell him how you're feeling. And if he cared about your feelings, he would have said, go ahead. Yeah, I support you. I like it longer. But I mean, if you feel you should do this, then, 2 people should work it out. If you did it and then told your husband, like, surprise, you're going to catch him off guard. I mean, people should work together in a relationship. And it might be, one of the things, you don't know what that person really thinks you're hot for. It could be your hair, it could be your could be your butt, could be your legs, could be a lot of things. And then you go and change that, and they're like, what? Okay. So, you always got to talk it over with your spouse first. And then, see, this is what I try and tell everybody. People aren't mind readers. He didn't know you wanted to cut it. And then you cut it. And now he's faced with, what the hell? Okay. People should talk. I feel this. Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. Let's come to a thing in the middle, an amicable decision that benefits both of us. Instead of cutting it down to 5 inches, why don't you cut it to 12 inches from 18? Make it a little shorter. I can live with that, blah, blah, blah. And then you're both happy. You come to a resolve in the middle where both people are happy, And if you liked it, you could tell him that, oh man, I love it this short. I want it shorter, honey. And then, if he ain't on board, there's things you can do to make him on board. Okay. You can treat him really nice. You can feed him dinner. You can do things in the bedroom and be like, okay, you'll get more of this if I get to cut my hair. And you know what? You don't need his say so. But if you earn it, then he can never be mad at you. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you got to talk things out between people. I mean, if you surprise me with something and I'm like, what the hell? It's causing problems, and nobody wants to cause problems in a relationship. You want things to be better. Who's yelling at Sue Ann about her hair? Deb Charge says there ain't no working it out. It's her hair, her choice. And Sue Ann says, first of all, it's my hair. If his live for me has to do with hair, then we shouldn't be together. See, that's not the right way you guys should think. I'm sorry. Jeff, you're doing everything you can, and Sue Ann still get mad. I'm sorry. This is wrong. This is wrong. Sue Ann, you should have talked it over with your husband. And if he didn't care, then go ahead and do it. And it looks to me like he didn't care. So as long as you asked him first, that's what living together is all about. You know, honey. I mean, if I'm with somebody and I decide I want my dick cut off, now that's going to affect her big time, right? I should talk it over with her, and we can come to some sort of conclusion to make things right. In your situation, Sue Ann, it looks like Deb Charge has no problem with it, but I still feel you should have talked to him first, and if he had no problem with it, then do it. It looks to me like you just surprised him with it, and I'm sorry, but that's not the way two people should do together. I mean, you guys have a great life together, and I like you guys. I mean, don't take my advice for anything. I mean, not trying to upset anybody. Deb Charge says, it was a surprise. I had no idea she's doing it, but I think it looks great. Oh, Sue Ann says, Rich, I love you. Well, thank you. I thought you were mad at me for a minute there. Ronaldo78 says, Big Rich, what are you most proud of at the rescue? I would have to say, me and Josh's older brother built the Camaro together. And that's all life was building that Camaro. And then afterwards, when Josh reached 15, I asked him what kind of car he wanted to build. And he did not like cars at all. He wanted to do, fish tanks. And me and him built this rescue into something extraordinary that each kid has something they did with their father that they will never forget, So I'm most proud of the fact that my kids are so into it, and they can look up to their dad and say, me and dad built this. That's what I'm most proud of. Not any certain fish, not any certain tank, that stuff, but the fact that I was able to capture my son's imagination and we rolled with it and built this. He absolutely loves it. And when I go, Richie's getting the car, Joshy's getting the house. They're both getting, all three of them are getting all the houses, the properties I own. But this house has to go to Josh because Josh helped build this. Richie wasn't part of it. Richie built the Camaro and Josh wasn't part of that. So Josh gets the $600,000-$700,000 house, while Richie only gets the $100,000 car. But it's what they did with their dad, and then all the other properties they can sell and do what they want with. I don't care. I'll be gone. I don't give a shit what they spend it on. Peyton Dooley says, is this guy serious? No way this big rich guy is real. Why would you say that? I'm as real can be. Yes, Sue Ann says. Well, thankfully, my hair length and dick size has nothing in common. You're fucking hilarious, Sue Ann. Oh, that's hilarious. Peyton, please explain yourself. Tracy says, my hair was clear past my knees and I lost all of it when I had surgery. It fell out from loss of protein. I didn't have much left anymore. Aw, you poor thing. Mandy Davis says, you always do great videos, Rich. You are amazing. Rich, always love watching you. Oh, thank you. Jerry Johnson says, about as real as it gets. Harley Gem says, yeah, that's rough, Gracie. Traumatic that way. Yeah. You know, when I had to go to jail for 6 months, I thought they were going to cut my hair. And they didn't. And I was like so thankful, you know. I was like, wow. Because I just went through the brain surgery thing. And, you know, I had lost a bunch of hair from the fire I was in. And then the great air blower incident that sucked in my hair in the carburetor of 78, you know, whatever it was. I don't know. Uh-oh. Peyton answered me, but somebody deleted it. Let me see it. Yeah, Peyton, you're done. You're gone. Thank you, Gracie. Dude's a douche. Ronaldo says, great answer, Rich. What is your most expensive fish? I would have to say it's probably the albino alligator gar that has the piebald morph. So he looks orangish pink with the red eyes, and then he has the black splotches on him. He's about 10 grand. James McNally says, how many monster fish rescues like yours in the USA? I tell you what, when I started, there wasn't any. And now thousands have popped up that didn't make it. And there's probably 4 or 5 that I know that are still doing good. Shauna says, I put him on timeout because he's been talking shit all night. You know what? I put him on timeout for 24 hours. If he's good, he can come back. If he's not, we'll just toast his ass and he'll never be back. Screw you, Peyton Dooley. That's as real as he gets, brother. Yeah, he called me clueless. How am I clueless? Ronaldo says, are any of the rescues as big as OFR? No. I do believe we have, and I'm going to say this carefully, the largest privately owned rescue in the world, because the next step up from us is SeaWorld. You know, big places like, you know, there used to be Geauga Lake and stuff like that. Any places that big, what do you call them? On Mondays we go to the zoo. They have the aquatic section, stuff like that. They do rescues on the side, but only for like big time, big things like, you know, 112 whales, you know, washed up on the shore. And, you know, you got rescues from all over trying to rescue them. Are always big profit company owned, you know, zoos or aquariums or, you know, Sequest type things. We are a privately owned rescue that goes all over the United States. I've driven to California twice in 1 month, and that was a 38-hour drive there and then back. And I did it straight through twice in 1 month, rescuing big fish, you know. So closing down of public aquariums. We've rescued out a bunch of them, you know. I don't know. Holly says, hang down your head, Peyton Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. This is funny. Sebastian says, I know I'm late to this topic. My wife wanted to cut her hair very short, and she asked me what I think, and we settled on something in the middle. And we both like it and enjoy it. See? Now, see, some guys, including me, think long hair on a woman is very feminine, and short hair is very effeminate, like dykish, you know, manly. So, and I'm not putting my values out there to anybody, especially you, Sue Ann. I love you. But if you're going to make a change like that, I would like my woman to talk to me first. That's all I'm saying. You know, I don't really like short hair. How about we go at 12 inches, or, you know, you got 36-inch hair. Let's do it at 18 inches. It'll be a load off of you. It's still long hair, still look feminine, you know, blah, 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 this and that. And that's not a real thing. That's my version of what women, you know, I think feminine women have long hair. I don't know how I learned that, know that. All I know is that's what I think. And then when I see short hair, I think, oh man, she runs her family, or you know, she's the man in the relationship, or you know, stuff like that. And that's only my opinion. I'm sorry. But if you're going to make a drastic change like that, you got to talk it over with your mate first. I think, to have a healthy relationship, you know. I mean, Sue Ann and Deb Charge, they're like this. They're fucking solid. They've been together forever, and I love them. So what I'm saying isn't working for them, but I just think that's the mainstay, you know. If I'm going to dye my hair purple, I should talk to my wife first. What do you think? Oh, dude, I wouldn't like that at all. You know, I would be embarrassed to be seen with you. Okay, so let's not do that then. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Let's just talk it over. Tyler says, I tell everybody you got to watch. I'm not clueless. The hell, someone call me clueless? I know so much. It's ridiculous. Sue Ann, I love you. Says the man with long hair. I'm so effeminate, right? Look at me. I'm a little girl. It's so funny. Mandy Davis says, it's nice to see the boys got a close relationship with you, Rich. You're a great dad, too. Those boys. To those boys, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. I raised my family and we stayed together and love my boys. And that's my only reason for being here, is to make them become adults with the tools that they can get by on their own without me. You know, what if I die? They need to get by on their own without me. They can cook, they can clean, they can fix, they can repair, they can replace, they can do everything they need. They don't need a woman. They now want a woman. You know what I'm saying? Their other half in their life. And the girl gets a kid that is able to fix anything. You know what I'm saying? Very talented some bitch that's, you know, a go-getter and doing great, you know. So I mean, it's all on how you raise your kids, I guess. Deb Charge says they've been together for 30 years. Wow. Whatever's working for you guys, just keep it up. Don't listen to me. I'm just saying what I think, you know. And you know, opinions are like assholes. So what if it's working for you guys, which it obviously is. You guys have raised a family. You guys are great people. I love when you come out here. I love hanging out with either one of you, you know. So you keep doing you. Don't listen to me. Kent A. JDK says, hi, Rich. Greetings from Denmark. Wow, Denmark. Nice to have you in the house. Tyler, all you gotta do is stop by here and you get a bunch of OFR stickers and a free tour. Ronaldo78 says, Rich, did Josh ever have a wedding party in the backyard when he came back from Mexico? No, he did not. He got married in Mexico. I was not part of it. He had his reception there, and then he had his honeymoon there. I missed out on all of it. I got to see pictures. Shauna says, I got called a clown and ignorant on OFR Facebook today. It was funny as fuck. Listen, Shauna, anytime somebody does that to you, see, we have a fishy family here. We all respect each other. We all love each other. We all, help each other. If someone's out there doing that, you report it. And what that means is you click the little 3 dots on the side and it says report. What that means is now it'll come to my attention what this guy said to you. And I can decide what to do to him. If I don't think you're a fit in our community, I'm going to ban you from OFR. So, Shauna, you let me know who that was. Send me a text, a message, anything, and let me know who that was and let me reprimand him as such. Because obviously, if he called you a clown, he's a douche. He's not part of our family, right? But then again, I'm clueless, I guess. I've been told. You know what? It's the best decision of my life to leave Cleveland, come down here, and start this rescue and surround myself with good people. I mean, it restored my faith in humanity. I was up in Cleveland where, one time I wake up, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to take my kids to school, and I see a car out in front of my yard, and there's like it looked like an Irish, what do you call them? Red dogs, Irish setters, whatever. And it looked like he was moving around and this and that. And I get closer and I'm like, holy shit. So I go up and I pound on the window, and it's some hooker giving some guy head on the side of the street in front of my house. I pound on the window and they're all, she's all like, huh? The fuck? I'm like, get this shit the fuck out of here. This is a family area. And this guy couldn't put his pants on quick enough and floor it out of there. But, I come out here and it's so nice, and everybody's so nice, and everybody that comes here is so respectful. And I love life now. I used to hate everybody. Stay out of my yard. I'm raising my kids here, And, why are you here? What the hell reason do you have to be in my yard? I mean, I used to be really hateful towards outsiders because they were all there to steal, rob, drugs, something. I mean, it was all bad up in Cleveland. I love living out here now. Harley Jem says, glad you let that roll off your back and realize some people are idiots. Well, he called me clueless. I'm definitely not clueless. I taught my boys how to be the men they are. I can fix anything. I can do anything. I can whatever. I'm definitely not clueless. So yeah, that can bounce off. You're a dumbass. Shauna says he was complaining about the fake coral in the Bellagio, and then he went off on you. Wow. All right, Tyler, I don't understand this one. Let's see how wholesome Rich is. I'll just gubernatorial you sticker. I would be scared to ask for an autograph from everyone, though. I know I'm a pain. Yeah, none of it made sense. Tyler says, look at Gracie go. She liked the kids from war games. I found him. I can't find you. Laughing out loud. Huh. Shauna says, you'll find me in the post about the comments about the Adonis pleco. Sue Ann says, look, even negative comments are comments. Just ignore the dumbass, accept the comment, and let it go. I'd let it go. Time him out for 24 hours, but I'll let it go. I'm not showing up at his house. Who you calling clueless, motherfucker? Depth Charge says, I'm not slurring. I'm just speaking in cursive. It's hilarious. Oh, shit. Well, look, it's 9:30. It looks like it's time to be out of a drink. Oh, I got to say something to Reaper. I gave him my glasses because I keep a pair of glasses in the van, in the overhead console. It flips down. You can see the back seat, and it flips down more, and there's a glasses holder there. I told Reaper, I carried these in last time. If you're going to take the van, please put these in the console above the thing, right? So I go to leave today, and I go up to Lowe's, and I have to go to Mark's. I have to get shopping supplies, stuff for Tracy, and I have to go to Lowe's to get the plastic for the dog bone because we decided not to use the wood that we painted because I found plastic at Lowe's for 25 bucks a sheet. So I went up to Lowe's to get it, and it's a special order item. So now we have to order that. It's going to take a few more days. And then I went to Mark's and got everything that I needed to get. And I got back in time for, Latrice was leaving at 3. I got back at like 2:59. And the whole time I had to drive with no glasses because Reaper didn't put my glasses back in the van. So now I need to know where my dang glasses are. And it was trying because everything was so blurry, So Reaper, that's on you, buddy. I made sure that you knew to put that in the console. This is important. I even told him these are prescription glasses. These are not reading glasses. So don't try and use them. Put them in the console. And he did not. So I don't know where they are right now. I didn't have glasses when I went out to drive the van, though. Mandy Davis says, Rich, you give great advice. I always listen to what you say. Well, thank you. But it's only through my trials and tribulations and everything I've been through that I come up with this. This is what I think should be. I'm not saying this is law. I'm just saying this is what I think should be. And I try and think of both parties involved and what would work for both sides. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for that. Raheem says, is nurse available for night? Well, it's 9:30 now. I have a nurse at 11 o'clock. So at 10:30, I got to change Tracy. I got to, reposition her for the last time because when I was just out there, I repositioned her. And then I have to, make sure the moisture thing is full and the suction thing is empty. And, just, respect is all. Ronaldo, you some bitch. He goes, Rich, should I cut my hair or should I ask my wife? Actually, Ronaldo, you should ask your wife to cut your hair. Yeah. Do you trust her? No, seriously. I cut Tracy's hair for like 20 years, and it was beautiful, Actually, I got a picture here. Let me see if I can show you guys this. This is fresh after her haircut that I gave her. Let me find my Tracy directory. Where is Tracy? Here we go. All right, now let me find her hair. Because she used to, my God, she didn't know what was going on. She was, dyeing her hair. She was giving perms. She was, using curling irons, and she's always bitching that her hair will never get long. I'm like, just let me take care of it. Here it is. Here's the picture of Tracy's hair after I cut it. Ouch. And now this is after me taking care of it for almost a year. And it grew long and it grew beautiful. If you can see this here. Pull away, go this way. See if that makes it better from farther away. No, you really can't see. See how it feathered all the way down and it just encompasses her shoulders? It was beautiful. She was so happy with her hair. She was always mad because my hair was longer than hers and she could never grow her hair long. Ouch. And I was like, that's because you mess with it all the time. I don't mess with my hair. I don't perm my hair. I don't, take a what do you call it? Curling iron to my hair. I don't mess with it. That's it. Deb Char says, I'd cut my hair if I wasn't bald. Gracie says, I miss my long hair. I wish I had it again. Yeah. All right, guys. Looks like this is the end of the night. We're going to close up shop here. I always love spending my time with you guys, even though Sue Ann got mad at me. I'm sorry, Sue Ann. I love you. Deb Chart says he's about to cut the beard off. No, I don't know what you look like without the beard. You have to confer with all your friends before you do that. Do you have any previous pictures without beards you can show us? We can make our decision on? You can't just do that to us. See, and that's the cool thing here. You guys are talking about losing your hair and stuff. I'm 61 years old, and I ain't lost no hair. There's no bald spots behind me. None on top. It's all there. I did lose a little bit of color here, but my normal color of my hair is but whatever. Oh man, I love the smell of Pantene. Sue Ann says he has my permission. There you go, Sue Ann. Now she's getting with the game. Harley Gem says, thanks for the extra time tonight. Love these Friday nights. Well, thank you too. I love hanging out with you guys and having a good time, except for when I'm called clueless, I guess. All right. Anyways, love you all. Thank you guys, my fishy family. Oh, Sue Ann says his deck is bigger than mine. That's funny. I'm so glad you guys hung out with us. Tyler says, love you, Rich. Time for a good movie night with the kids and the wifey. Thank you for fishy. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys, there's a series out called Twisted Metal. And if you've ever played the video game, it depicts the video game pretty damn close. And it is so good. It's 2 seasons out already. I'm on the last show of the last season, the second season. And I was like, I couldn't stop watching it. I mean, it was really good. It's a show called Twisted Metal. Look it up and watch that. It's really good. I was enthralled. All right, guys. I'll see you next Friday. In the meantime, try and watch Mondays and Fridays videos, not just Wednesdays for Josh's. I'm going to have to start swapping them up so that you guys get caught. James McNally says, you're a genius to me, Big Rich, and an entrepreneur where the Ohio Fish Rescue is concerned, as you're the co-founder of Saving Fish That Outgrow Their Tanks. Yep. Reem says, wanted to watch it soon. Yeah. There is a show, or I'm sorry, a website called F as in Frank, the number 2 movies.to. F2movies.to. If you go there, you can see I just watched Superman. I watched all the new movies that are out in the theaters and stuff like that. You get to watch for free. It's great. But now they're starting to be hassled with SoundCloud is trying to stop you from watching videos. Just reload the page and SoundCloud will go away. That's how I watch all my newest movies and stuff. Raheem says, make long videos, Rich. I just made a 50-minute video for today. All right, guys. Love you. We're out of here. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Friday.